Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And a good evening and welcome into Memorial Gardens for the first game of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the North Bay Battalion and the Barrie Colts. I'm your host, Derek Lindemann, and you are watching Battalion Hockey here on the front line. Today's pregame show is proudly sponsored by...
The pregame show is brought to you by La Huerta Imports, family owned and operated since 1995. Visit lahuertaimports.com for more details.
And welcome back, and with me tonight, Ben Sargent joins me again in the broadcast booth for the pregame show, and he'll be alongside Matt Sukram for his color duties. Well, Ben, welcome back. Round 2, exciting here. The excitement is in North Bay. Tailgate outside before this game. Expecting another packed house in here, and the Barrie Colts come in tonight. But in the regular season, North Bay winning 5 of the 6 matchups, 2 of those games in overtime. The only loss was back December 17th in Barrie's 6-3 contest tonight. What do we expect for game 1?
Well, we almost didn't know if we were going to get here to round 2 the way it was going with Mississauga. As kudos to the Steelheads. They played very well, and even though the Battalion handedly in game 6 was up 5-1 at one point, almost blew it. Steelheads almost brought it back to game 7 on Tuesday, but the Battalion were able to hold on, and here we are. So, yeah, very interesting. Now, the first thing, and we talked about this on the podcast, which went live today, was what are we expecting from this series? Are you worried about the fact of how they played against Mississauga? And the answer should be no, because the Battalion do tend to play down to their competition. So when they play against better teams, they do tend to play better in competition. So the big thing here with Barrie is going to be one of our players to watch, who we'll bring up very shortly. But if they can shut down maybe a couple key players, this might be a relatively quick series.
It could be. Both teams winning in the first round in 6 games, 4-2 the series count, as the Barrie Colts took out the Hamilton Bulldogs in 6 games, and as you mentioned, the North Bay Battalion knocking out the Mississauga Steelheads also in 6. Last time these two teams met in the playoffs was 2016, and in that year it was the Barrie Colts that came out on top, but the previous 2 matchups before that, it was the North Bay Battalion. So Barrie Colts looking to keep things going against the North Bay Battalion team.
Yeah, and again, we talked about the Battalion having a little bit of struggles with Mississauga. Barrie, again, they're coming off a series where they kind of struggled against Hamilton as well, especially considering that their 2 games they lost, they were missing their best defenseman who put up over 17 points in the first in the first round. So again, when you look at the Barrie Colts and you see who they have for points, it's only a handful of guys. So I expect this to be a very interesting series. They don't really have the goaltending. We'll talk about Anson Thornton a little bit later. Again, the Battalion, if you kind of square up between all of it, the Battalion also look very good. They've got the depth on offense. They've got the better defense. Outside of maybe 1 or 2 guys that you could argue are pit side to side, and they have the better goaltending. So it's, again, on paper, it's another lopsided opportunity. They did go 5-1 against them in the regular season, but look, the playoffs are an entirely different beast, and it's going to be so imperative that the Battalion do a really good job here on ice and hopefully take this game and on Sunday.
Well, the last month of the regular season, it became a close race between these 2 teams for the top spot in the Central Division, with the North Bay Battalion coming out on top. The Battalion have to going on a 11-game winning streak to close out the regular season, and the Barrie Colts right behind them, winning 8 of their last 10 games, making it an interesting race for that division.
And again, Barrie came up. They had their moments in the season, but as you said, it looked for a while that it was North Bay and Ottawa. They were shooting for first and second place. Next thing you know, the Battalion going a bit of a slide. Ottawa continues to win. They lock up first place. And then Barrie kind of comes out of nowhere following the trade deadline and plays very good hockey. And again, coming into this series, we said that the Battalion have the better, on paper, they have the better job, but we'll have to see. And again, we talked about this as well. If Barrie can come out here, play aggressive, and really force the Battalion to make quick passes, that's what Mississauga did, and the Battalion struggled. If Barrie can do the same thing here, and that's what I expect their game plan to be, it might be a long evening here for North Bay.
Wow, you said it already. Let's take a look at our players to watch tonight, as they were brought to us by Mike, the financial advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike, the financial advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
We're looking at 2 defenders tonight that are kind of redefining the position as a defenseman, almost into that rover position. Brant Clark for the Barrie Colts, coming back from the LA Kings at the trade deadline, as he was returned from the LA Kings and having an exceptional season down the stretch for the Barrie Colts. And on the flip side, Ty Nelson for the North Bay Battalion, one of the top defenders in the league this year, setting team records for most points in a regular season.
Yeah, just to put Brant Clark in context here, he had 23 goals, 1 less than Ty Nelson, and he played 31 games. He was almost, as a defenseman, almost a goal per game player. On top of that, played half the games that all of his teammates played, and still found himself tied for 5th in their overall scoring. So that just shows how good of a playmaker this guy is. And we talked about, again, the 2 times they lost against Hamilton. Clark did not play. Very first game that they lost, he elbowed a guy in the head, got a game misconduct, got a suspension for the next game. Those were the 2 games Barrie lost in that Hamilton series. Now, the good news for the Battalion on that trademark, 2 times they've played them well. Clark has been a Barrie Colt this season. Both times the Battalion won 4-2, 1 at home, 1 on the road, and they kept him to only 1 point in those 2 games.
Yeah, Brant Clark already with 17 points in this playoffs, 5 goals, 12 assists, and he did miss a game and almost 3/4 of game 3. So Brant Clark, a big difference for the Barrie Colts. North Bay Battalion, though, Ty Nelson is having a breakout season. A draft pick of the Seattle Kraken. We've seen the Kraken sign a couple players recently in Logan Morrison and David Goyette of the Sudbury Wolves, both drafted in the same year as Ty Nelson. I'd like to see Nelson sign an entry-level deal near the end of this playoff run.
Yeah, and again, I just have a feel. I'm telling, and I know we have this conversation. I'm telling you, I think he's going to be starting in Seattle next year. He's had such a good season, and on top of that, when you look at what he's done in the playoffs, he has 2 goals, 8 assists, and really he kind of had 3 goals because the 1 goal that Justin Ertel scored was pretty much Ty Nelson doing 90% of the work. It was Ertel who got a really good tip on it, but Nelson kind of did most of the work for that. So you could almost argue he kind of scored 3 goals in that time. Nelson looked absolutely fantastic in that series. I would like to see him be a little bit more aggressive. He didn't join the rush as much. Obviously, with Alexander Lukin still being out of the lineup here, Tanais Mathern, still no ETA on when we thought he would be a round 2 guy, still no ETA on him. he's going to be playing with Brandon Hislop again. I'd like to see him join up in the rush a little bit more, be a little bit more aggressive, but maybe in the playoffs his mind is thinking a little bit more defensively and let the offense take over.
And talking about those two players, let's talk about the North Bay lineup. Still out of the lineup, as we said, Tanias Mathurin and Lucan on the back end. Lucan still hearing that he's a week and a half to 2 weeks away, and Tanias Mathurin basically ready to go. He was ready at last playoff round, could be in the lineup any day now, so I'll have to wait and see for him. But Ryan Houlihan going with the same lineup he did in the last two games over the Mississauga Steelheads. And the question I have today is Liam Arnsby named defensive forward of the year in the coaches poll, getting a lot of recognition. We're going to see him in a defensive role tonight with Tarasevic and Ben Steensel. I really like that line as a shutdown unit.
And again, I really love that line too as a way to start the game off in an aggressive manner, as you said. First of all, before we go, are they starting?
No,
Do you know?
no,
Do you know
no.
who the starting
I know
line
who's
is?
starting.
Who started?
Josh Bloom, Zito, McDonald, Hislop, and Nelson.
All right.
And it's going to be an interesting matchup because they're going to get to see Hache and Clark right off the bat. So
I only ask you that because I keep forgetting to ask you pregame. But either way, see, I like when Arnsby, because the thing is that Arnsby's a very aggressive person. In fact, I would say next to McDonald, probably throws his body around the most out of anybody on this team. But the Battalion, it's all about not necessarily how they start games. It's literally the first shift of that hockey game. If they can get momentum right away, they're a very momentum-based team. The better their momentum, the better they play. And if they can get it going right off the top, we'll have to see Bloom, Zito, and McDonald are going to have to start things going right away. But I love that Arnsby, Van Steensel, Tarasevic line. It's got a little bit of speed with Tarasevic. It's got a little bit of playmaking with Van Steensel. And, of course, it has that grit. And they're really good at, again, that momentum piece and kind of getting a little gritty on the hitting side.
The Barrie Colts, only a couple of scratches for the Colts as they're going to scratch Carter Lowe, Ben Bickle, Ethan Quick, Kashawn Aitchison, and Chris Grisolia. Chris Grisolia, one of the key players, is probably the biggest scratch for the Barrie Colts. But they do have Connor Punnett, who is a Callander, Ontario native, a big, bulky defenseman in his overage season. He's not afraid to throw his body around, and he's going to make an impact back here in one of his home arenas.
Yeah, one of the things we talk about the Battalion as well is they're an aggressive team. We've seen guys throw around their body. We didn't see Mississauga throw around their body as much, so it's going to be interesting when you look at a guy like Punnett. Is he going to be that kind of guy who's going to get their team going? I don't know if we're going to talk about fights, but don't be surprised if him and McDonald and Arnsby and some of these guys start getting tangled up a little bit. I'm sure, I expect them to be some sort of friction there early on in this series and early on in this hockey game.
And Barrie also has Tyler Servard, who they acquired at the trade deadline from the Sioux Greyhounds. He was the top penalty minute getter in the OHL, so we're going to see him quite often, I think, in the penalty box. Let's turn our attention to goaltending. Anson Thornton getting the start for the Barrie Colts. Big series last week against the Hamilton Bulldogs. An OHL milestone when he scores his first goal, coming over from the Sarnia Sting, as the Sarnia Sting had two goaltenders last year signed or drafted to the NHL, and they went ahead with Ben Goudreau this year and kind of tossed aside Anson Thornton, who finds a home at the Barrie Colts. He's happy here, and that's what the Barrie Colts needed, was some goaltending, and they've been getting it from Thornton.
Yeah, Thornton's looked very good in 5 games only. He's given up 14 goals, so just over, almost 3 goals a game, 282 goals against average. He's a guy who's been keeping, again, we saw when the Battalion were winning, they were scoring 4 or 5 goals in all their wins. So Thornton has been a good job of shutting the door. In Hamilton, they don't have as many goal scorers, but they do have guys like Nick Lardis and people who can put the puck in the net. And so Thornton, he's going to be a very important part. Now we've seen a guy like Leanders for Mississauga shut the door at a very young age, and it's going to be, I think, Thornton, the goaltending is going to be the biggest difference. DiVincenzo is also not a good playoff series against Mississauga. He also let in 14 goals in 6 games played, so very similar stats for both goaltenders. I think goaltending is going to be a big part of this hockey game in this series. If one of these goalies can steal a game or two, it could get interesting real fast. And
that goaltender that could steal a game for the North Bay Battalion, Dom DiVincenzo, getting the start again tonight for the North Bay Battalion. Dominated the OHL regular season in the stats category. And again, in the coaches' polls, getting numerous awards given to him. And one of those was Best Puck Handling Goaltender.
Yeah, and you talk about puck handling again. He's a guy who's not afraid to get out of his net, and that is so good because it basically gives you an extra defenseman out there. If you remember back in the heyday of Brodeur and before they had the whole trapezoid, and it was guys would say it's basically like having a sixth man on the ice because he would go in when pucks were chipped in, and Dom does that same thing. What he does is he eliminates the chip and chase game, which we'll talk about the Battalion a little bit later, but he eliminates that chip and chase game. He's able to get the puck. He knows what he's doing with it before he gets it, which means he can get rid of it really fast. And when you take the chip and chase out of a team's arsenal to get into the zone, now you can make it easier to get them, to stop them at the blue line, and you really take away one of the biggest ways of them gaining the zone.
One of the things that we're starting to hear here is the crowd getting amped up and getting ready for the Battalion to take to the ice as they will be wearing their customary green uniforms. How important is it for a packed barn here for that seventh man to get into this game?
Well, we've seen them be loud, and you mentioned this back in Game 5, but they need to be loud all the time, and you can kind of start hearing them now. Pre-game, they are electric. During the game, unless something really big happens, you don't really hear them. So. And you mentioned this multiple times throughout Game 5. They need to be like this pretty much the whole game. And if they can do that, it'll make a big difference. And that's such a huge advantage at home for the Battalion.
Well, both of these teams are prepared for something that they didn't get to face in the first round, and that is a much deeper team, as both the Battalion and the Barrie Colts go almost identically in depth. Two really strong teams, well-coached teams. Marty Williamson, one of the best coaches for the Barrie Colts in the OHL, going against Ryan Ullahan of the North Bay Battalion, and really Ullahan with some familiarity with the Barrie Colts as he faced them numerous times in the playoffs when he played for the Battalion down in Brampton. While the teams are ready on the ice, the fans are ready in the crowd, we're ready up here. Matt Shucom's ready to get back in here for the play-by-play, because coming up next, it's the Colts Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
And we welcome you to Memorial Gardens for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the North Bay Battalion and the Barrie Colts. I am Matthew Sukram alongside Ben Sargent, and this capacity crowd is ready for puck drop here tonight. We're hoping that the North Bay Battalion are as well, as we saw that getting off to a good start really is a key for this team. When they score first, they seem like they are almost unstoppable. They get off on the right foot, and then there's no turning back, but it's getting to that point that seems to have been the struggle in those games against the Mississauga Steelheads, and you know that they're looking to reverse that trend here against the Barrie Colts in round 2.
And if there's one person to look at, was our player to watch for Barrie, it's Brant Clark, 17 points in the first round, which is extremely impressive, and in 6 games, over 2 points a game, almost 3 points a game. But the Battalion have shut them down, as in the 2 games he's faced off against the Battalion, only 1 point this season.
Players are ready, the puck is dropped, and round 2 is underway as Hislop feeds it into the cold zone, but it's shot right back out quickly by Clark, and then picked up by Hislop again in his own zone. Can't clear, it's now behind the net. Nelson gets it out to the blue line. He finds Zito, who gets it up to Bloom. 1-on-1 in the zone, and Bloom's shot goes high over the crossbar, played off the glass. Barrie picks up the puck, and they're looking to clear. They turn it over. McDonald's right there, and he fires it just wide of the net. It comes back out to the neutral zone. Looking to get it is Clark. Hislop takes it away and sends it back out to the middle. Dumped in by McDonald, and very quickly it's batted back out to the neutral zone by Hache. Picked up by Jelsma in the neutral zone, and he dumps it down into the North Bay end where DiVincentis plays it behind his own net. Sent back around to the near side now. It's Petrov there. He chips at it to get to the blue line. Blocked by the Colts. They send it back in behind the net. Chasing it on the far side. Looked like Matthews there. But it's picked up by the North Bay Battalion, and they will clear it down the ice. This one is going to go the length of the ice, and it will be icing called. 18:54 remaining in the first period. No score.
Well, Matvei Petrov having a very quiet but productive first round. Don't really think you didn't see his name getting called too much, but picked up 10 assists in that first round. So again, we didn't see him be as impactful as he has been in the regular season. But if there's 2 guys that the Battalion need to have another good series, it's Josh Bloom, who played very well in the first round, and Kyle Jackson, who finally found the back of the net 3 times in the last 2 games in round 1. If they can have big games, that's gonna be huge for the Battalion.
Ertel brings it out, finds Petrov, firing it in from behind the blue line. Save is made. Rebound chances off the side of the net. Ertel from the half boards on the far side put it past the goaltender, Thornton, who was out of position, but could not get it past the goal line. The puck comes up to the blue line in the Colt zone, and it's dumped out by York. And DiVincentis will play it behind his own net in the North Bay end. He leaves it, and brought out by Jackson. Pass across the neutral zone, can't get it to Tarasevic. But picking it up behind him is Petrov, and he dumps it down the ice. Barrie now brings it forward. They dump it in. That's Frasca playing it behind the net. DiVincentis blocks the path of the puck, and that allows North Bay to clear it out of the zone. In the neutral zone, it's controlled by the Barrie Colts. Cardwell behind his own blue line sends it to the near side to Akey. Sent across to the far side, and now dumped down into the North Bay end again. Once again, that's DiVincentis there behind his net. Flips it around on the near side boards, off the skates of Van Steensel, sent it towards the net, and it's deflected high. Picked up by North Bay at their own blue line. That's Christopoulos. Feathers it across to Winslow, looking down his left wing side. He plays it to Van Steensel, who chips at it, and it's dumped down into the Barrie zone. Picked up behind the net, Barrie controlling it, Kavanaugh there. He gets it out to the neutral zone, and 2-on-2 the other way. Coming down is Chisholm, staying down the right side. Chisholm blows a tire there, could not keep control of the puck, and that allows North Bay to get it out. 17:15 to go in the first period. Still looking for our first goal. It's behind the net. Nelson has it for North Bay, sends it down the right wing side. It's deflected off the stick of Romani, and then picked up in the neutral zone by the Colts. They try to come back down the other way. It's blocked by Wakely. He gets it over to Nelson, but they're saying that Nelson and Wakely were offside. And now after the whistle, there's a hit on Nelson, and the Barrie player is being penalized for that hit. And then he threw a punch at Hislop as he skated by him, and Hislop better be careful because then he's going to get called.
I'm not too sure what the referee there is signaling. He's signaling a 1 here to the bench, but as you said, Hislop and Punnett, when we talked about this in the pregame show, Punnett, he led the Barrie Colts in penalty minutes, so it looks like Punnett's the only one who's going to be punished, but led the team in penalty minutes, and we knew he gets things started very early with a late blindside hit on Ty Nelson. Gets a roughing call, but kind of a dangerous play as Nelson not paying attention since it's already offside. And kind of a dirty hit from Punnett, not a hit that you need to take, and almost surprised that it's only 2 minutes.
Yeah, I thought he was going to get penalized for that punch. So here we go, 1st Battalion power play of this series. It's Nelson who chips it into the right side half board to Romani. Back up high in the zone to Jackson. Above the left circle. Now he sends it to the point to Nelson. To the right side, Petrov. Back to Nelson. Quickly to Jackson. Walking in on the left side. Takes a shot. Deflected just wide of the net. Now it's Jackson again on the half boards. To the middle. Nelson has it. Nelson skating to the board. Sends it to the middle. Petrov shot one-timer. And Thornton with a huge glove save. Flashing the leather and finding it through the traffic.
Well, goaltending is going to be a big part of this series. Both Thornton, we talked about how good DiVincentis is. Anson Thornton, again, 14 goals allowed in 5 games, a 282 goals against average. Very good against Hamilton, though. Hamilton, again, they don't have the depth of goal scoring. But if we look at the Battalion on the power play, 5 for 24 in the last round, 20%. They were 7th overall. Of course, less teams now than there was back in the regular season, but still. Power play is going to be a big point. They didn't score a power play goal in Mississauga until they went on the road in Game 3.
They are 5 for 24 in the postseason so far, and the Barrie Colts have given up 6 power play goals against on 26 times, being shorthanded, 76% in that category. Jackson behind the blue line sends it towards Zito behind the net. Flipping it around the boards to Petrov on the right side. Petrov faked to the line. Now he's going in towards the corner, gets pushed over there. The puck gets back to the point to Nelson. Nelson across to Jackson, back to Petrov. Shot coming in. It deflects wide. Picked up behind the net by Zito. Holding it behind the goal line. Zito in the corner. He gets pushed down. Looking to get some support, though. But now they're going to call hand pass. Zito is arguing that Brant Clark touched the puck. Clark is arguing that Zito took a hand pass from Petrov in the corner. And either way, the officials blow the play down. 15:42 remaining in the first period. No score with 44 seconds remaining on the North Bay power play.
Well, the Barrie penalty kill doing a good job of keeping the Battalion on the outside, not giving them a lot of opportunities. Barrie has given up 6 goals and 26 opportunities, though. Only 76% on the penalty kill.
In the neutral zone, the Colts have the puck, and they dump it down into the North Bay end. Winslow picks it up behind his own goal line, and he'll send it to the neutral zone to Bloom. He skates down the left side, now finds Ertl, back up ahead to Bloom. Bloom in the middle to Romani. Never got a piece of that puck as it was knocked away by the defense and then sent down the ice. 15 seconds remaining in the penalty to punt it, and 15 minutes to go in the first period as Winslow brings it forward over the blue line to Ertel. Ertel's shot on net is deflected away by Thornton, and the Arizona Coyotes draft pick just sends it over the boards for a stoppage in play.
Well, Justin Ertel not having a kind of struggling a little bit and with some bad luck at the end of the season, as he couldn't really get a goal. As it's just every time he got close to it, it would just kind of miss the. He would just miss his stick, something would happen, and then finally that got snapped in Game 5 on a really nice pass by Nelson, who was able to finally tip it by Leenders to get his first goal of the postseason.
As the puck is dropped, Punnett is out of the box, so we're back to 5-on-5, but that will be icing called against Barrie as they send it all the way down. So 14:53 to go in the first period, and North Bay with another offensive zone face-off coming up. As we mentioned, they defeated Mississauga in 6 games in round 1, while the Barrie Colts needed 6 games to beat Hamilton as well in their opening round. So neither team really got any more rest than the others coming into this series.
Sometimes that can be counterintuitive as well. Sometimes guys will sweep a team, and the next thing you know, they don't have there's too much rest.
Nelson's shot is stopped. Rebound by Arnsby in front. He doesn't get a lot behind it, and Veerling is able to pick it up, take it away, and he'll send it down the ice. Nelson has it behind his own blue line again for North Bay. He sends it towards the Barrie net. It goes off the boards, and that will end up as icing against the North Bay Battalion with 14:36 to go.
Well, if you're the Barrie Colts, a lot of your goal scoring coming from Ethan Cardwell, who picked up 6 goals and an assist. That top line of Cardwell, Veerling, and Frasca have been really good in that series as Frasca picks up 3 goals, 2 points, so 5 points for him as well. And Veerling, of course, 9 assists to go along with that.
Yeah, 1 goal, so 10 points for Veerling, and he almost had another assist there as Brant Clark walked right in towards the net, sent it across his body, but I think it might have got a piece of the post, or it just went wide. Either way, it doesn't go past the goal line, and the Battalion thankful for that as they are able to get it out to the neutral zone. Nelson.
Oh, sorry. Still no recorded shots on net either by Barrie in the first 6 minutes.
Clark up ahead to Cardwell, coming in on the right side, takes a shot, save made by DiVincentis as he kicks it into the corner. Now it's behind the net. Winslow has it for North Bay, sends it down the right side. Tarasavic, who finds Van Steensel in the middle, dishes it off to the left wing for Winslow. He skates in, going towards the net, goes behind the net, tries to center it, but it gets past everybody and clears the zone. Ertel out there now. He puts on the brakes. Now he'll go back into the Barrie end. He takes a shot. That one stopped. Picks it back up on the half boards. Turns and sends it towards the corner. That's blocked. And it will come out of the zone, corralled by Christopoulos at his own blue line. He tries to play it forward again, chipping it off the boards. Ertel finds it, who gets it to Jackson. Jackson takes a shot from the slot, but it's off the skate of Punnett and now behind the net on the end boards. Jackson trying to control it back there. He's brought down. Puck comes up to the line, shoveled back to the corner to Jackson. Jackson holding it in that corner, looking to send it to the line to Christopoulos. He'll fire it in. That one's blocked. Again, a lot of traffic in the slot, and that allows the Colts to get it up ahead. It's kept in the zone briefly by Brostowski, but now it comes out to the neutral zone. Christopoulos sends it forward again. Jackson to the left side to Petrov. Petrov in front to Jackson, deflects it behind his back, and it went towards the netminder Thornton, who had to make a save on it. It wasn't a very difficult save, but it was an interesting play by Jackson just to get it on net. Now the puck's sent down the ice, and icing will be called against Barrie once again with 12:47 to go in this scoreless first period.
Well, the Battalion out shooting 6-1 right now, and in the first just over 7 minutes, the Battalion have really done a good job with the momentum in this game, but Barrie's playing very well in their own defensive zone, as they've done a great job of keeping the puck out of the high traffic zones and blocking a lot of shots in the early going.
As you mentioned, 6 shots already, but quite a few of them have been blocked. North Bay probably has maybe even double that.
Yeah, in just shot attempts.
In shot attempts, exactly. Behind the net, Zito pushed hard from behind. One cross check, a second one from Punnett, and he does not get punished. And now Kyle McDonald's hitting everything in his way. Puck comes to the line. Nelson sends it in to the corner. McDonald gets hit now in that corner from Punnett, knocking him over. The puck goes to the near side boards. It gets knocked out of the area and carried down the ice by McDonald. He sends it on net. DiVincentis stops it, and that'll be drawing some whistles and drawing a bit of crowd as well in front of the blue paint. 12:06 to go. Still looking for our first goal here at Memorial Gardens in Game 1.
Well, we talk about Punnett being the leader in penalty minutes for the Barrie Colts, and you can see why. He's very kind of pesky, but he's almost getting to a point where he's kind of trying to go to Kyle McDonald in maybe a fight, and for Punnett, he's a guy that's his job. His job is to be a pest, to potentially get into some fights. If you get Kyle McDonald out of this game for 5 minutes, that's not what you want to see if you're the Battalion. So that's a storyline just to kind of keep in check. We know McDonald's a very aggressive guy. He plays with a lot of emotion, but he's got to keep that in check tonight.
North Bay win the draw in the defensive zone. Winslow skating through the middle, fires it in. It's off the glass into the far side corner. Chipped along the boards up to the blue line to Winslow. He plays it back down to the half boards for Romani, who then sends it to Procession. Procession throws a hit as he followed the puck to the boards, and then it came off the stick and over the glass and out of play. And now the officials are deciding that the faceoff will stay inside the Barrie zone with 11:46 to play. This is the 4th time these two teams are meeting in the playoffs since the Battalion have been in North Bay. They matched up 3 straight years. 2014 and 15 were wins for North Bay. 2016 were the Colts prevailing in a series sweep. So yeah, it's been a while. It doesn't seem like that much time has passed since these two have met in the playoff series, but it has been. That's what, 7 years now.
Yeah, those were the golden years of the Battalion, right? Against these years.
Romani tries to drag it through going towards the net, but it's turned aside by, I believe that was Kolak there. And now sent around to the near side boards. The Battalion trying to regain possession. They've got at the line. They send it back into the end boards. Kolak is still back there. Gets it to the far side boards now. Finds Chisholm. And Chisholm will skate it out of the zone. And then dumps it in. DiVincentis will play it behind his net with 10:50 to go in this scoreless first period. It's sent to the far side boards for Tarasevic skating down the right wing, gains the attacking zone, sends it to the right side boards. Arnsby shot to the middle is kicked back to the boards where Nelson finds it. He fires it in. That's a save made. The rebound ends up behind the net. It is Tarasevic in control back there. He finds Hislop. Hislop fires it back in along the end boards. Picked up in the far side by Arnsby. Sends it to the right side circle to Tarasevic. Now to the line to Nelson. Nelson takes a shot. And there's going to be a penalty getting called here. It's going to be goaltender interference against Van Steensel. And the Battalion penalty kill will get a workout for the first time tonight with 10:19 to go.
Well, Van Steensel was tied up with the Barrie defender, and unfortunately kind of knocks him into Cardwell a little bit. Into Thornton a little bit. And that forces the goaltender interference. And that's one of those rules that it's so subjective, and it's not really a cut and dry rule. And unfortunately for Owen Van Steensel, he's going to go to the box for 2 minutes or less. Barrie, the top power play, 11 for 28. The Battalion coming in, they were 4 for 26 in the PK, good for 6. So Barrie has found a lot of success, a lot of that thanks to Brant Clark.
And it's Clark off the draw, across to the far side. Now back to Clark in the middle. Takes a shot, save made. Somebody's lost a stick in that scramble. The puck goes to the far side and now cleared by North Bay. Halfway through the first, no score. Barrie with their first man advantage of the game. They bring it up to the line, and it's sent back the other way by Christopoulos. Barrie taking their time to bring it forward. Cardwell to Frasca across the left side. Open in the slot, the shot save made. Rebound comes out to Clark, back to the left side. To the right side, and it's a shot off the side of the net. And then it goes into the corner. Almost everybody over there. The puck comes up high in the zone. Now to the right side. It's Clark in control for Barrie. Finds Cardwell. Back to Clark. Sends it in. That's blocked in the slot, but the Battalion can't clear. Cardwell gets it back on the right side. Then he turns it over to Hislop, and he sends it down the ice. The Battalion giveth. They take it away, and they get it back.
Well, just like Barrie, a lot of great block shots. Christopoulos, a big block early on that. Both teams keeping a lot of traffic out of the high traffic areas in the slot.
And another one sent down the ice. Owen Van Steensel did not get called for a penalty at all in that opening series. First time he is sitting in the sin bin this postseason with 30 seconds remaining on that penalty. And now it's Barrie back in control inside the attacking zone. On the far side boards, they find Punnett at the circle to the right side. One-time shot is stopped. Rebound chance denied as well. A third opportunity in the slot is taken away by McDonald. He can't clear, takes another whack at it, and sends it down the ice. 10 seconds to go. Barrie might have one more zone entry with the man advantage here. Akey over the blue line. Plays it to the left side. Chisholm tries to pass it to the boards. Akey is there, battling on the far side. They lost it. It comes out of the zone. It's ahead to Van Steensel, out of the box. In on the breakaway shot. Blocker save made by Thornton. What an opportunity there for Van Steensel out of the box. Down the chute, wide open, but just could not beat the goaltender Thornton with easily his biggest of the 8 saves he's made tonight. Play continues, though, as it's back inside the North Bay zone. It's Kennedy behind the blue line. Sends it to the far side boards to Brzezowski. Brzezowski bringing it down the right side. Tries to play it over the blue line. That got blocked, and now Barrie goes back the other way. And it's dumped in by Bowden. Around on the near side. That one's sent down the ice. Clark picks it up in his own zone. The Colts defenseman looking ahead. Gets it over to Bowden. And he plays it in behind the net. Now DiVincente's back there. Sends it off the near side boards for North Bay. It's off the body of Petrov. Picked up by Winslow. He sends it back around on the far side. Now back to the near side to Winslow. Looking down his left wing. Comes over the red line and sends it down the ice. Picked off the boards by Jackson to Christopoulos. The shot, and it's a blocker save by the goaltender Thornton. The puck goes around on the near side. Winslow's there, into the corner, back out to the middle. Petrov has control. He skates back to the blue line, trying to make sure he's got control of the puck. Skates to the left side. He's coming down with speed, going in behind the net, still in control. Almost got poked off his stick, but now he sends it back behind the net to Jackson. Jackson tries to wrap around. That one's blocked by Thornton, and that will allow Barrie to clear the puck down the ice. 6:30 to go in the first period. We haven't had a stoppage in play since the end of that penalty. The puck is inside the Barrie zone again. Arnsby plays it to the far side boards. Nelson racing over there into the corner. Couple of guys battling. The puck gets knocked up in the air and comes back down in the neutral zone. Hislop controls it. Looking down his left wing, plays it up to Van Steensel. He deflects it in, and it's chased in the corner by Arnsby. Arnsby throws a hard hit as Kolach takes one, and now they've dropped the gloves. Arnsby coming out of the corner, and he's throwing some haymakers. He has jerseyed his opponent. That is Kavanaugh. He cannot see a thing, and Arnsby is just wailing on him, and the officials, for Kavanaugh's safety, break it up.
Well, yeah, this all stems from a hit. I believe that Arnsby threw. Barrie player, so I didn't see who the Barrie player was. It was very slow.
That was Kolach.
That was Kolach, yeah. But now it looks like there's a whole bunch of battalion going over there. I'm not too sure. They're just handing him all his equipment. A big fist pump from Hislop to Arnsby. But I do think that Arnsby is going to end up getting the referee's hand was already up. So I have a feeling that unless there's an instigation penalty called, we're most likely going to have a battalion power penalty kill.
So we're going to take our mid-period break, and then we will be right back here on the front line.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Well, we're halfway through the first period, more than halfway through the first period, and as always, we're joined by Derek, who is downstairs between the benches. And Derek, the battalion haven't scored a goal, but Arnsby certainly giving them a lead in fights tonight after that play.
And what a turn of events there, Matt. Big hit by Arnsby. It was a legal hit, and Kavanaugh took exception to it and decided to drop them with Arnsby. Arnsby getting the better of Kavanaugh, and Kavanaugh picking up the extra 2 minutes for the instigating penalty. So the battalion not only getting the momentum from the fight, will also be back on the power play. They looked dangerous in their first opportunity, and this is another great opportunity to get the first of the game here. And you can just feel the energy down here on the bench, how important it is for the North Bay Battalion to get on the board first and get this crowd into it. It's been loud and exciting so far down here, Matt.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Derek. So Jodwen will serve the penalty, or he'll serve the 2 minutes. That was given to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh has been sent to the locker room. I don't know if it's an equipment issue or if because he's getting 7.
I think it's just that there's less than 7 minutes to go here.
So with 6 minutes remaining, Kavanaugh is gone for the rest of the period, and North Bay are on the second power play of the night. Nelson coming in, takes a shot, scores! Kid Nelly on the power play gives the battalion the lead in Game 1.
How do you like that? 2 goals in the first round, and again, the battalion haven't really gotten great shots on net in this period. It really just feels like a couple of their shots have been lobbed in a little bit. Thornton's had a pretty easy time. This is one where Nelson just goes great high blocker side, and he just beats Thornton clean. And we've seen this a little bit, this kind of just above the pad area, perfectly on the inside part of the net. Not much a goaltender can do there on generally the blocker side, especially low blocker side tends to be a little bit weaker, and Thornton gets beat there, and the battalion a huge 1-0 lead. And all of a sudden, you look at that fight, that it looked like Arnsby was going to get some time originally, and then it ends up being the battalion power play. And how about them 1 for 2 now on the man advantage and a big 1-0 lead.
Ty Nelson's 3rd goal of his playoff career. Remember last year, he wasn't able to score a goal, but he did have 10 assists in the 13 North Bay Battalion playoff games, and the Seattle Kraken's 3rd round draft pick just continues to impress throughout his OHL career. And like you said, you don't think he's going to be here to start next season.
I don't think so. And Kavanaugh, by the way, also a 10-minute misconduct as well.
Oh, wow.
Following that fight. So he won't be back until at least the 12-minute mark, I believe.
Bloom coming down the right wing side, looking for more, tries to set up Zito, but it's just past his stick, and it goes off the near side boards where a big group converges, but now it is picked up by Punnett, and he will come out of the zone, and North Bay are about to get called for a penalty here.
2:27 is going on this. Zito and Savard both tangling up. We're going to see what the call is. And we'll see See, 2 minutes for a slash.
McDonald's getting called for slashing.
As he joins Arnsby in the line. I did not see that one, but either way, and now the Barrie again, they were 0 for 1. Top power play in the playoffs so far. They'll get a chance at it again, but the Battalion, what they did so well was blocking shots. Christopoulos a big one, Winslow a big one. Battalion have done a great job, just like Barrie has on the other side, keeping the puck away from the middle of the ice and really getting a lot of bodies on in front of pucks.
Off the draw, Clark has it, and Christopoulos just comes up and slaps it off his stick and sends it out to the neutral zone. That's killed off the first 15 seconds. Now Cardwell comes in. North Bay ahead 1-0 on the penalty kill. They steal the puck, and it's Tarasevich coming down the ice. Tarasevich, who had 6 shorthanded goals in the regular season, sends it towards the net, but his shot gets blocked easily. And now 2 Barrie players collide in their own zone as they try to bring the puck out, but no worse for wear. They get back up, jump into the play, and the puck is sent into the North Bay zone. It comes around to the near side to Clark. Clark holding it. Skates to the middle of the blue line, dishes it off to the left side to Veerling. Plays it down low, and he fans on the shot, and it gets sent out of the zone by the Battalion.
Well, Barrie really trying to set up that slot shot. As surprising they haven't let Clark kind of go at the blue line a little bit and see that shot that has done him so well this year. Ooh,
and there's
Clark.
Another hard hit. Clark is down in a heap of pain, holding his wrist. He's doubled over.
Well, it was a clean hit, but
was it Wakely on the hit there? Or was it Christopoulos?
I did not see the person, but he basically got his stomach right into the board, so he came in, might have just, hopefully for Clark, just got the wind knocked out of him a little bit, but as you said, holding his wrist, not a good sign for Barrie, already down 1-0, and might have lost their, at least for a little bit, their captain and clearly their playmaker.
Zito doing work in the offensive zone. Again, oh boy, that is a blindside hit. Zito was trying to steal the puck, looking for some room to skate, and then Punnett jumped off the bench into the play and went about 4 or 5 strides directly into Zito.
Yeah. And again,
that is going to be a blindside for sure.
Was it Punnett who got it? It doesn't look like he's going to the box.
Oh, no, it's Chisholm that went to the box.
Very
Excuse
similar.
me.
2 versus 24, it's hard to see up there, but both ways, like you look at that, and again, this has become a very rough series. We saw this again in Mississauga, and again, another divisional matchup here, and Barrie is, both teams are really coming out with the aggressiveness. And
well, they are division rivals. They played each other 6 times in the regular season, and there were some hard-fought games in that series. North Bay came out of that out of the head-to-head series with a 5-1 record. So Barrie Colts are looking for a little bit of blood here, aren't they?
But you can't take those penalties.
No.
You're down 1-0 at this point. You're on the power play for another 17 seconds, and now the Italians scored on their last power play. Here's a good chance for them to go up 2-0 in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be a short-handed, short in time power play for the North Bay Battalion. There's 3:20 to go in the first period. As Ben said, North Bay lead 1-0, and now with McDonald out of the box, North Bay are right back on their power play, and it's Nelson walking into the middle, takes a shot. Big kick save made by the goaltender Thornton. It was right in the middle of the ice on that rebound, but nobody was there for North Bay, unfortunately.
McDonald a little bit more on the wing, was looking for the kick save out, but Thornton keeping it in front of him.
That was an impressive save, and now here comes Nelson again. Just to the right side. Jackson was right there, but could not get it onto the end of his stick. Just kind of tried to battle that bouncing puck before he could get the shot away.
Yeah, Nelson a little too hot on that pass, but either way, maybe a situation where maybe you think it's shooting it, but doesn't work out for the Battalion.
Zito coming in, takes a shot, another save made there. Nelson already he's only got 2 shots recorded on net in this game, but probably another 3 or 4 shots, attempts, right?
Yeah, same with the Battalion, only 12 shots, but they've taken probably at least 20 good chances.
Here's Winslow now, down the neutral zone. Drops it back to Wakely over the blue line. Back to Winslow, the shot! And it goes off the shoulder of Thornton. Some huge saves by Thornton on this penalty kill by the Barrie Colts. And now another shot from Wakely that just goes wide out of the reach of Thornton's glove side. The puck in the middle of the zone. It gets cleared out. 15 seconds remaining on the North Bay power play. They get it to Hertel in the neutral zone. He dumps it down the left wing, and they're going to call offside against the North Bay Battalion.
Well, what a first period so far, Matt. We're almost about 18 minutes, 18 and a half through the first period, 1-0 North Bay, and this has been a much better defensive game from the Battalion that we've seen pretty much, I think, maybe game 5, where they shut out the Mississauga Steelheads, but very good defensive. The Barrie Colts starting to get into a problem right now where all their defense is situated in the high slot. They're leaving a lot of battalions open on the flanks, and North Bay trying to take advantage of that, but they just haven't been able to get those passes crisp over to them. But that could be a lot of issues for Thornton, who's going to have to move from one side to the other of his crease.
And we're back to 5-on-5 play as Zito brings it into the Barrie zone. It's behind the net for Tarasevich, holding it back there for the Battalion. Being pressured on the boards. Van Steensel comes in to help him out. Van Steensel gets it out of the area and sends it to the point to Christopoulos. Christopoulos sends it on the half board to Van Steensel. Back to Tarasevich down low. He tries to play it up high. That is blocked. And now skating out of the zone with it is Chisholm for the Barrie Colts, who dumps it down with 1:10 remaining in the first period. 1-0 North Bay lead. And North Bay turn the puck over inside their own blue line, but coming out of the zone is Cardwell. Now he turns around, comes right back in, then fires it wide blocker side. That shot goes off the boards and ricochets all the way down the ice, and it's picked up by the Colts in their own end and now sent ahead. Akey drops it back to Cardwell, sends it through the zone, picked up by Bowden. The shot coming in, blocker save made by DiVincentis. Precision on the far side for North Bay, gets it up to McDonald. McDonald walking down the right side board, sends it into the Barrie Colts zone, and the Colts are able to clear it immediately. Bristowski in the neutral zone trying to play it forward. Procession getting involved there as well. It comes out to the neutral zone. Procession throws a hit on Akey, and the puck ends up on McDonald's stick. McDonald coming down on the left wing side into the attacking zone. Plays it across to the right side out of the reach of Procession, but now he goes into the corner. Throws a hit while he's there, but could not control the puck. It gets sent around to the near side boards. Bristowski pinching in, is able to hold it on those boards. He tries to feed it in the corner, gets knocked away from that area, and then sent down the ice. 2 seconds to go, and North Bay are going to take a 1-0 lead into the locker room after 1 period play in game 1. And that 1 goal courtesy of Ty Nelson.
Well, a great first period for the Battalion, exactly what you needed. They played really well defensively. Both teams doing a good job blocking shots. I think they just need to start taking advantage of some of these scoring opportunities they had. Maybe get a little bit better with their shots on net haven't been the greatest. But Ty Nelson, 6 seconds into the power play, makes it 1-0. And a huge first period for the Battalion, and it's going to be an interesting next 40 minutes.
Well, we thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast, and if you're enjoying what you see, head on over to patreon.com/frontlinepodcast, and you can throw a couple of dollars our way. It would really help us keep this thing going throughout the postseason and into next year as well. We've got more on the way. Derek and Ben will break down this first period here. It's 1-0 North Bay after 20 minutes. You're watching the Frontline broadcast presented by Average Shows right here on YouTube. Stay tuned.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back in Memorial Gardens, where after one period of play, it's the North Bay Battalion leading the visiting Barrie Colts by a score of 1-0. It was Ty Nelson on the power play getting things started for the Battalion. The only goal of that period, his third of the postseason at 14:02. Zito and Petrov with the assist on Nelson's goal. Few penalties to talk about in that first as things got started early. 3:02 in. Connor Punnett, the local native, went off for a roughing for the Barrie Colts. Owen Van Steensel went off for interference at 9:41. Then we had a little fisticuff as Josh Kavanaugh and Liam Arnsby went at it, both receiving 5-minute majors for fighting. Kavanaugh picking up an extra 2 and a 10 for instigating. Kyle McDonald went off for slashing. And finally, Callum Chisholm went off for blindsiding at 16:25. Looking at the specialty teams in that first period, the Battalion scoring once on 3 opportunities. Meanwhile, the Barrie Colts were 0 for 1 with the extra attacker. Shots on goal in that first period favored the home side, the Battalion outshooting the Colts by a tally of 13-7. All 4 playoff series are underway tonight on this Friday evening. A very wonderful Friday it is out there, still around 20 degrees here in North Bay. First off, in London, the London Knights currently with a 3-0 lead over the Kitchener Rangers. 5 minutes left in the first. The London Knights striking first last night, picking up the opening game of that series. Meanwhile, in Ottawa, it's the Peterborough Petes in the 67s tied at 1 through 20 minutes of play. Also through one period in Sarnia, the Sting have a 1-0 lead over the visiting Saginaw Spirit. Looking in the Major League Baseball tonight, the Blue Jays hosting the undefeated Tampa Bay Rays, and the Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead in the top of the third. A slow night in the NHL, 2 games as the regular season draws to a conclusion. First off, it's the Columbus Blue Jackets leading the Buffalo Sabres 1-0. And a later start tonight as the Avalanche are in Nashville to take on the Predators. That's an 8 o'clock start there in Nashville. Well, before tonight's game, we had a special visitor up to the booth, and Courtney Kenny got the chance to interview former captain Luke Moncada, as we have a special tidbit of our special listen of that interview right now. It's Luke Moncada joining Courtney Kenny earlier today.
Pleased to be joined by a former captain of the North Bay Battalion here before Game 1 against the Barrie Colts, Luke Moncada. Luke, it's been a long time since you've been in this building. How does it feel to be back?
It feels great. Like I said earlier, this buzz going on in the building. It's great to see all the fans come out, and you got a good battalion here, team, so it's good to see everyone in here supporting the boys.
Now, I know you were unfortunately, your career ended in a silly way, as we all know how things went down, but you were pleased to be joined by a former captain of the North Bay Battalion here before Game 1 against the Barrie Colts, Luke Moncada. Luke, it's been a long time since you've been in this building. How does it feel to be back?
It feels great. Like I said earlier, this buzz going on in the building. It's great to see all the fans come out, and you got a good battalion here, team, so it's good to see everyone in here supporting the boys.
Now, I know you were unfortunately, your career ended in a silly way, as we all know how things went down, but you were still part of this team, through Zoom meetings and stuff. What was that like, getting to see some of the seeds of what this team would become?
Well, at the time, honestly, you don't know. You're just meeting young guys, kind of doing regular team stuff, and then obviously we never got to play, but all these years later, those same young guys that we were having Zoom meetings with and I was getting to meet, I'm getting to see all the work that they've put in over the years and getting to see them take over the team and, bring this team to a great position. It's second round in the playoffs. That was something the battalion hadn't done in my time there, so it's great to see the battalion have a great team and great to see this building get packed and going again.
Now, I got to ask you, because you're saying it's great and all this stuff, but how jealous are you that you never got to see the second round?
Oh, my God. When you say it like that, I've been thinking about it my whole drive up here today. I'm thinking, to be in this building, to be in this city when you have a great team is something that I never got to experience, and it's something I wish I could have experienced, because from watching from afar via Instagram and from talking to, coaching staff and players, it seems like being here on a winning team is a place you really want to be.
Now, Luke, let's ask you about your post-battalion playing career, because you've been all over the world now, it feels like. What's that like playing over in Europe?
It's fantastic. It's you get to see things and have experiences that honestly when I was on the battalion, I never would have thought I would have, but playing in the OHL, playing for North Bay, just kind of opened those doors for me. So, like I said, I get to do things and experience things that I never would have expected, and I'm grateful for those opportunities every day.
Now, I know we touched on your career ending in a weird way, and not everyone's fashion like that, but, looking back on your career, was there one thing that you wish you could say to yourself or a younger version of yourself coming into the league?
That's a tough question because there's so much that goes on and there's so much change. And you enter the league as a 16-year-old, and you're a kid still. You're young, and then throughout your career, you end as a 20-year-old, and you're a totally different person. So I would just say showing up every day and being grateful for where you are and working to be the player and the person you want to be is going to get you to where your end goal is as fast as possible. And it's going to get you there in a way that the people around you are going to have a positive impact on you, and you're also going to have a positive impact on them. So I would just say show up, do the work, and be grateful.
One of the last questions I have for you next year, where do you think you're playing?
I'm back in Asiago next year, so I think I'm going to be there for the next couple of years. It was an amazing year last year. We have a great club there, great organization, so I'm happy to be back there and going to keep enjoying my time and keep trying to experience things like I said earlier. And the advice I would have given my young self, I'm going to take that and use it now and just be grateful for the opportunities you get every day.
All right, last one. Battalion Colts. I know it's a rivalry game. It's a rivalry series. What's your prediction on the series?
I'm going to say Battalion in 5. I looking at this roster and watching from afar, a lot of depth. I know definitely the Colts have a lot of a talent, especially on the back end there, and talent up and down their lineup. But I like the Battalion depth. I like the goaltending, and I like just the chemistry and the hard-nosed hockey they kind of bring to it. I think it's going to either be 5 or 6 for the Battalion.
All right, Luke, really happy that you're here. Thank you for coming back to North Bay before this game. Really excited to see the video that I'm sure we'll see later of you delivering the starting lineup. So Thanks so much for this.
No problem. Thanks for having me up here, and go Battalion.
You heard it here first. That's Luke Moncada on the front line.
And a big thank you to Luke Moncada stopping by before tonight's game as he was down in the dressing room delivering a speech and the starting lineups for the North Bay Battalion. Battalion striking on the power play. Ty Nelson getting on the board. One of our players to watch, and the other one, Brant Clark, sat for a little bit in the final few minutes with what we suspect as a midsection injury. Looked like he had the wind knocked out of him when he was hit into the boards.
Yeah, and good news for if you're the Barrie Colts is generally those injuries are very they're very bad at the time, but you quickly recover from them over time. So if it is just as simple as, and hopefully it's not like bruised ribs or anything like that, because again, chest protectors don't necessarily go down that far. So if it is something like a bruised rib, it could be bad. But if it is just the wind knocked out of him, he's probably going to get the start at the beginning of the second period. But as you said, we were talking before the break here, you're going to have to watch to see how long his shifts are.
Yeah, he did not leave the bench areas. He remained on the bench and looked like he was ready to get on at the end of the period as he was sitting on the edge of the bench. We'll have to see how much he plays in the second period and how long those shifts are. North Bay Battalion getting off to a good start. They get that penalty early, get a little bit of power play time. They look like they're into this game tonight and capitalizing that first goal. The crowd was really into it right from the get-go. 20 minutes, I think this was the loudest and most sustained I've heard this group here.
Yeah, they've sounded really good. And again, we talked about the Battalion, unfortunately playing down in the competition a little bit. You can see the difference in the game here when they're playing against a much stronger competition in the Barrie Colts. Well, a couple of things that we noticed in this first period. Number one, defensively, both teams playing from some very solid defense. We've seen blocked shots be a big part, especially on the penalty kill. Winslow and Christopoulos on their last penalty kill, a couple of big block shots. On the first penalty kill. And then the same thing with Barrie. Barrie did a good job of keeping the puck on the outside and not allowing a lot of shots to go through. Unfortunately, what they're doing now is they're starting to be so focused on that slot area, they're leaving a lot of Battalion players open near the hash marks and near the face-off dots. They could potentially get some good looks, and the Battalion had a couple, but unfortunately the passes either weren't crisp or the players would whiff on the shot. So something to kind of keep in mind, but so far for both teams, a really solid defensive effort.
Anson Thornton looked to be the more active goaltender, making a couple highlight saves that he had to be called upon to make. Dom DiVincentis didn't need to make those saves. He looked good in the goal. 7 shots only against him. That was really the difference in Mississauga. Is Mississauga every game was out shooting the North Bay Battalion. The Battalion need to be better defensively, and they have been in that first 20.
And I think a lot of it, And we talked about how when they get pressure, they don't play it. Barrie not really pressuring the Battalion, as you can see. A lot of ice that they have to move. And sometimes I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Mississauga had nothing to lose. So their thing is, we're going to blitz the crap out of the Battalion and see what happens. Barrie's trying to play a much more structured defensive game. They're trying to focus a little bit more on making sure that there isn't zone entry, and that allows the Battalion a little bit more time in their own zone to get their passes going, to get their neutral game going, a little bit more chip and chase. And really what's happening is that the Battalion are able to go on the offense a little bit. If you're Barrie, you want to be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe play a little bit more of aggressive style at this point. You're down 1-0, try to get a turnover, try to get something to happen. But overall, if you're the Battalion, if you're Ryan Houlihan, you got to be very, very happy with the way that your team played, especially coming off a playoff series where you didn't play the greatest and you almost gave up a lead to Mississauga in Game 6.
Yeah, totally. Really happy with the way the North Bay Battalion played in that first period. Very physical, a very physicality matchup between these two teams. We've already seen Connor Punnett getting involved with a penalty and involved also with a little bit of after the whistle stuff. I expect that to continue. This is one of the best rivalries in the OHL, and it's not going to go away early. I think this is going to be a long series. Moncada predicted 5. I think it's going to go 6, but it's going to be a physicality, and it's going to be who can survive to have a chance in the East Final.
Yeah, and I agree too. I think what's going to help the Battalion is, again, their scoring depth. Again, any one of these lines can score. If you look at the Barrie Colts, it's really that top line of Vierling, Frasca, and Cardwell. That's the line you have to shut down. And of course, McDonald's another guy who can kind of hurt you, and Brant Clark. But they only have maybe 5 or 6 guys that you really have to focus on shutting down in order to have success. On the other side, when you look at the Battalion, you have about pretty much 12 guys you have to worry about, plus Nelson defensively. So a lot more scoring opportunities for the Battalion. But as you said, the physicality is a huge part of this game. Even though the players do consider the Sudbury Wolves as more of a rivalry, we've talked about it before on the podcast and the broadcast. Barrie's kind of the bigger rivalry between the two of them, especially considering they faced each other quite a few times, at least in recent years in the playoffs. And it's been a while since both Sudbury and North Bay have been good at the same time and in a playoff environment.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the second period plays out, but it's the Battalion with a 1-0 lead through one period of play. When we return, Matt Sucrum will rejoin Ben Sargent with all of your second period action here as you are watching Colts Battalion on the front line.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Welcome back to Memorial Gardens. I'm Matthew Sucrum and alongside Ben Sargent. And just like Game 1 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series, it's the Battalion up 1-0 after one period of play thanks to Ty Nelson. Yes, Nelson scored his first playoff goal in Game 1 against Mississauga. Took that 1-0 lead for the North Bay Battalion into the intermission, and he's come out and done it again here in Game 1 against the Barrie Colts. We'll see how much more gets put on the board here as the puck is dropped, and the second period is underway. Zito over to McDonald, feathers it up ahead. Bloom was in front, but he got it poked off his stick at the last second there. Now Savard goes the other way, finds Jelsma coming in. His shot gets knocked off his shot goes off the stick of Hislop and over the glass and out of play. 32 seconds into the second period, 1-0 North Bay.
Well, just a quick note, Brant Clark back on the ice to start this with Hache, so good to see him back out there. Obviously, you never want to see somebody go down injured, and huge part, again, the 2 games he didn't play for Barrie, they lost to Hamilton, but the Battalion have done a great job. 2 games that they've played against each other with Clark post him coming back at the trade deadline, and only kept him to 1 assist in that time. So the Battalion have found the secret to keeping him off the score sheet.
Yeah,
it's called Dom DiVincentis, apparently.
The Barrie Colts went 23-7-3 in the 33 games that Brant Clark suited up for them. That is pretty dominant. Here comes the Battalion down the ice. Jackson towards the net. He gets his shot off, but he gets pushed to the boards, and Thornton makes the easy save. Now it's the Colts going back the other way down the right wing side. Bowden coming in, sends it wide of the net. Behind the net, it's picked up by Kennedy of the Battalion, and he gets it to the middle to Jackson. Back to Kennedy on the right side, and he will slowly skate it out. Gets up to the red line and dumps it down. Now Akey's there for the Barrie Colts, and he'll play it forward onto the stick of Frasca, who dumps it down and kicked out by DiVincentis to the near side. Arnsby has it, gets it out to the neutral zone, but it's Kolach there, and Kolach flips it over the glass and out of play, and so the faceoff will be right at center ice. 1:32 seconds in now. 1-0 North Bay here in the second.
Well, it's how you throw it about how good they've been with Brant Clark. What I find is always impressive about that is the fact he's a defenseman. So with the amount of points that he's able to put up, and Ty Nelson's the same way. It's impressive when a defenseman is able to be that impactful on a team, considering they're not just focused on point scoring. They're focused on stopping, playing good defense, and I think that makes it a little bit more impressive than when it's a defenseman over a forward.
Into the near side corner in the North Bay zone. Christopoulos has the puck for the Battalion. Trying to get away from a couple of players, and he does as he gets it out to the neutral zone. Gets it to Arnsby, coming in on 2-on-1. Arnsby fans on the shot, gets the puck back behind the net, centers it in front, and somehow the save is made. Thornton went across his body, then slipped before getting back in position to make the save, and then a shot comes in from the point, and Thornton stops that one with the glove and holds on to it for the stoppage in play.
Well, again, the great opportunity. Van Cecil, a really nice pass over to Arnsby as he kind of takes the hit but gets rid of the puck first. And Arnsby, unfortunately, we've seen this game. The Battalion just haven't been able to find a handle on the puck in their shots. They haven't had, outside of Nelson's goal, a lot of their good quality scoring chances, they just haven't been able to pull the trigger properly with that shot. And again, Arnsby not able to do anything there, and almost got a great opportunity as Thornton kind of bailed a little bit too much on the one side. And obviously, again, Barrie doing a great job of getting so many bodies in front and really helping when it comes to blocking shots.
Puck sent down the ice. Icing will be called. 17:44 remaining in the second period. 1-0 lead for the North Bay Battalion. Now, the Barrie Colts have had a couple of power play opportunities. They are 0 for 2. And that is where the Colts might be the most dangerous with Clark. He's tied for 5th in playoff goals with 5. He leads in power play assists with 5. And he's tied for first with 3 power play goals as well. So 5 goals overall, 3 of them coming on the power play. 5 assists on the power play for Brant Clark, but 0 for 2 so far tonight.
And I don't believe he had a shot on either power play either. The Barrie Colts were really trying to get in tight on their power play opportunities. Didn't really get any shots from the point.
Yeah, he's got 1 shot overall so far tonight. Right now it's the Barrie Colts who have the puck. They've got control of it in the attacking zone. Behind the net it's Jelsma, and he gets pushed hard into the boards. The puck comes to the blue line though. Punnett fires it in. That one's wide of the net. Jelsma finds it on the far side. Along the half boards, he's being pressured there. A couple of guys trying to take the puck away from it. The puck goes behind the net, and it's Hislop who ends up with it. Gets it to Wakely in the middle of the zone, and he finds Romani in the neutral zone. It's off the stick of Romani and picked back up by the Colts, and here they come back in the zone. McDonald coming in. That one's shot and blocker save made by DiVincentis. Another shot coming in, and another blocker save made. Puck goes around to the far side. That is Cholach there. Battling with Bloom. The puck moves away from those players, and it comes up to the blue line and cleared. Wakely finds Romani in the neutral zone. He skates over the blue line, dishes it off to Bloom. The shot coming in. It's off a stick and over the glass and out of play. That's twice on that shift there that the Battalion had a couple of guys going forward in the neutral zone and just could not get a good pass going into the zone.
Well, big congratulations to Ethan Cardwell. We talked about him getting 6 goals in the first round, which was an assist, 7 points total. Just a couple, I believe it was today or yesterday, just today, signed his entry-level deal with the San Jose Sharks in 189 OHL games. It's 200 career points.
One of several NHL draft picks on this Barrie Colts team. North Bay with the puck in their own zone. Kennedy sends it up ahead to Wakely over the blue line, tried to get to Zito, but he goes offside.
Well, we talked about draft picks so far, and obviously, if you look at Barrie, Anson Thornton, their goaltender, of course, an Arizona pick. Braden Hache with Florida. Frank Clark, of course, with the Kings, as he played earlier, and Artur Kolak, the Vegas Golden Knight.
And Evan Vierling was a 5th-round draft pick by the New York Rangers back in 2020.
Apparently, they don't give us all the information on here.
Well,
very interesting. Well, I don't know who puts these together, but not reliable. And this is what we rely on. Either way, though, if you're Barrie, you've got to be. They played a really solid game here tonight. Same with the Battalion, but if you're Marty Williamson, you're kind of looking at this team and you're saying we've had a solid game, but I think they just need to try to get a little bit more pucks on DiVincentis, and the Battalion are just playing a very good defensive game as there's a delay here.
I'm not sure what the delay is on. I mean, the
issue.
Battalion went, it might have been. The Battalion went offside on that last play, and the faceoff is going to be in front of the North Bay bench.
The referee's talking to the scorers, the referees and linesmen.
Well, while we wait, as we said, you can support us by heading over to patreon.com/frontlinepodcast. This week on the front line, we'll have game 2 of this first round series as the Troops host Barrie on Sunday afternoon. You can catch that right here on the Frontline broadcast, presented by Average Joe's, starting at 1:50 in the afternoon. And all you have to do is hit that subscribe button, and you'll get a notification when the broadcast starts. We make it pretty simple and easy for you to follow along.
And it's going to be a good series as well. And I believe the idea is we're trying to go and do the road games as well.
We will let you know for sure. Just as the puck is finally dropped and the Barrie Colts immediately go offside. So stay tuned to our social media feeds for all that information. We've also got a new episode of the Frontline Podcast out right now. Myself, Courtney Kenny, and Ben Sargent chatted the end of the talked about we wrapped up the Powassan Voodoo season. They fell in 4 straight games to the Timmins Rock in the NOJHL East Finals. So we wrap that one up. We wrap up the North Bay Mississauga series, and we preview the Barrie Colts series. So wherever you get your favorite podcast, you can get that one now. Here comes Arnsby over the blue line, dishes it off to the left side. Shot coming in from Van Steensel. That's blocked and sent around to the near side boards. Right up to the line. Christopoulos shovels it back down along the half boards. Gets to the stick of Arnsby in the circle. He sends it back to the point. Now back to Arnsby in front to Van Steensel. Scores! More like Van rips it on that one. As Arnsby sets him up, and he absolutely tees off on it to give the Battalion a 2-0 lead.
Well, his first goal, and Owen Van Steensel, we haven't seen that shot from the Battalion tonight. Well, outside maybe Nelson's goal, but that was the shot the Battalion have been looking for all night. And again, Barrie has been leaving the Battalion players just open. So much open ice in front of Thornton, and finally the Battalion take advantage. And now all of a sudden it's 2-0. A huge second goal gives you a little bit more breathing room. And we talk about how good the Battalion are going into the third period with leads. This is a big extra insurance goal for North Bay.
Well, they still got to hold on to that for the next 15 minutes, but they certainly give themselves a good starting point here in the first 5 minutes of the second period. Van Steensel picks up his first career playoff goal on that one. He had 2 assists in the opening round. There's a shot coming in that goes wide of the net. And now the Barrie Colts are back in control inside the attacking zone. McDonald in the corner, gets shoved hard and falls down. The puck goes to the middle of the zone. Ertel picks it up, and the Battalion can go on a 4-on-2 here. It is Jackson down the right side, takes the shot. It goes wide of the net. Picked up on the far side by Nelson. He backhands it around behind the net to Petrov. Petrov skates to the left side boards, still holding on to it, circling the zone, takes a shot, and the save is made by Thornton, but that was a nasty no-look shot there by Matvei Petrov.
Yeah, Petrov, 19 shots on net. He put a few of them on net in that first round. Of course, the leader being Kyle McDonald with 29 shots on net. Going into that Game 5, Kyle Jackson was leading with 16, so that shows how many shots McDonald had in Game 5 and Game 6 combined. But Petrov started to put it, not a great quality shot there, but Petrov's still looking for his first playoff goal of this season.
Out to the neutral zone, Chisholm bringing it in down the right wing side, stopped on the boards and sent around to the near side. In the corner, there's a hard hit thrown on Wiggle there. He wiggles out of the area and gets the puck to.
No.
He knew I was going to have to drop it one time. Gets it out to the neutral zone, and shot flipped up over the glass and out of play. 13:51 to play.
They might be giving them a penalty here. Maybe, I'm not sure. They're pointing at the Barrie player's not very happy. That's Braden Hache. So this might also be where the looks.
Yeah.
I think he's just arguing where they're going to place the puck as it looks. Or no, they're taking him to the box. That was
Hache.
a roller coaster of emotions there. He was going, he wasn't, he was going. But it looks like the Battalion going on their third power play as it's fourth power play as Canada still there. He's facing, he still has that 10-minute misconduct, that automatic with an instigator. So the Battalion now, a great opportunity to make it 3-0. They already got 1 goal this game on the power play.
That was the Ty Nelson goal back at the 14:02 mark of the first period. Who else but Matvei Petrov on one of the assists, and Pasquale Zito picking up the other one. So a big opportunity here now for the North Bay Battalion as they got the wave going around Memorial Gardens here.
Well, a lot stronger than round 1 wave.
Petrov to the point, Nelson. To the left side, Zito down low to McDonald. To the right side, goal line to Jackson. Finds Petrov in the circle, back to Jackson, below the goal line, in front of McDonald, and he sends it off the post. Now Zito, shoves it back behind the net to McDonald. Around the corner, he finds Petrov, sends it back behind the net to McDonald. McDonald sends it out wide to the boards on the far side of Jackson. Cross to the right side, Petrov walking in, takes a shot, it's deflected off the skate of Punnett, picked up by the Colts, and sent down the ice. Nelson will give chase with 13:15 to play in the second period. North Bay ahead 2-0. A minute 20 on the power play as Nelson walks in over the blue line. Goes towards the boards, shovels it over to McDonald. McDonald plays it back up high to Petrov at the line. Down the right wing side, he sends it to the middle. Now to Nelson. The shot comes in, and the save is made by Thornton.
Well, unfortunately, they don't count block shots, because if they did, I'm sure this would almost be a record, it seems, as every time the Battalion try to take a shot, it feels like it gets blocked off from some Barrie Colts player, doing a great job blocking the shooting lanes. And Kyle McDonald, a beautiful opportunity early on as the Battalion again trying to almost close in a little bit on Thornton, but as he said, ends up hitting the post, and now all of a sudden, still a minute 5 to go on the power play. It'll be Bloom taking this face-off up against Declan McDonald.
And the wild thing is that even though Barrie is blocking a lot of shots, North Bay still have 20 on net, and there's still 12:45 to play. But now here come the Colts on a 2-on-1 down the ice, and the save is made by DeVincentis. It was Jelsma and McDonald going in on a 2-on-1. Just blown coverage at the blue line by the North Bay Battalion. while they're on the power play, allowing that to happen.
They tried to do their best to just get in the passing lane, but a great opportunity there for Barrie, shorthanded.
Wakely off to the left side boards in the Barrie zone. It's sent around to the near side. Holding it at the boards is Bloom. Tried to shovel it back down. That's turned over. 3-on-2 the other way. Here come the Colts, and they go offside as they come up to the blue line. 12:14 to play in the second period. 2-0 North Bay lead and 23 seconds remaining on their power play.
Well, the Barrie Colts playing a little bit more aggressively on this power play, as we've seen. On this penalty kill. As that's the second odd man rush that they've had a chance of getting here on this power play. But either way, Barrie's going to start becoming a lot more aggressive in this game. We're almost at the halfway mark with 12:14 to go in the second period. They're down 2-0, and with the way the Battalion have played defensively and the way that Dom's played in net, it's a pretty big lead to have. But of course, anything can happen at any time, and that's something you got to be wary of.
Especially with a guy like Brant Clark on your team. Here comes Tarasevic, flips it towards the net, and that goes wide. And chasing it down the ice will be Nelson, and that should end the penalty as Hache is about to get back out onto the ice with 11:50 to play in the second period. North Bay dump it down, and that will be called icing against the North Bay Battalion.
Arnsby on the wrong side of the center line there as he's not able to stop that going icing. But again, we talked about this. Mississauga led the shots on goal. It felt like, I'm pretty sure, like almost every game in that series, and all of a sudden the Battalion now out-chancing the Barrie Colts in this one as well. But Barrie not helping their case. They've found the penalty box 4 times in this hockey game. They've been finding themselves shorthanded a lot. And obviously when you do that, especially when you're down, what you're really doing is you're killing time off the clock, and every second is precious when you're trailing, especially against a great team like North Bay in a playoff game.
Nelson behind the net to the far side boards. Gets it up ahead to Arnsby. Arnsby now to Tarasevic. Down the left wing side for Van Steensel walking in. Van Steensel throwing a hit. Going toe-to-toe there with Cardwell. But Cardwell is able to knock Van Steensel off the puck, and the Colts go the other way as it's Cardwell who carries it into the zone. Hislop no longer has a stick. The puck goes towards Steven Chentis, and he covers it up for the stoppage in play.
Nice defensive play by Arnsby as he ties up his man. Unfortunately for him, Barrie's still able to come in and get a nice little opportunity on DiVincentis as his stick explodes. Again, the Battalion continually making life easy on Dom DiVincentis. They've had a couple of opportunities, but when it comes to the actual shots Dom has handled, he hasn't had to do too much east to west movement, and they're making it very, very easy on them. And I think Barrie needs to start taking a couple more chances from the point, getting some more eyes, and trying to get some tips in front of DiVincentis.
North Bay win the draw, but they cannot clear it out of the zone. Whipped around the boards. It'll circle up to the near side. Controlled there by Hache. His shot is blocked by Jackson. He gets it out to the neutral zone and finds the stick of Petrov, who carries it all the way down the ice. Petrov stops at the blue line, tries to send it down low. It's blocked by Clark, and he gets it back out ahead to Cooper Matthews, who dumps it into the far side corner in the North Bay zone. He's stopped there by Brastowski, and now Brastowski is holding it along the end boards. Couple of guys digging away at it with 10:50 to play. It comes out of that area, and North Bay will clear as Kennedy gets it down the left wing side and out to the neutral zone. Clark has it behind his own blue line. He's being pressured by Jackson. Jackson steals the puck from him on the far side boards. Jackson towards the net, takes a shot that's blocked by Clark. Good battle here between these two players, and it gets cleared out to the neutral zone. Coming back into the Colts end, McDonald, he takes a shot. That goes wide of the net. Picked up by North Bay's Winslow. He comes down the right wing side. Winslow over the blue line, drops it to Zito. Zito comes down the right side boards, leaves it for Winslow there. Winslow stops, goes into the circle. Now looking for some support. Going into the corner, gets pushed off the puck, recovers it, got it on the stick of Hertel, but Hertel cannot hold it there, and it's cleared out of the zone by Barrie. Back down the other way. North Bay get on the puck first in their own zone. They send it back out to the neutral zone for Zito. He got stopped at the blue line, and the Colts try to send it the other way. Chasing it into the zone is Jelsma. Christopoulos throws a hit, and Christopoulos finds the puck on the end boards. He gets it over to McDonald, and McDonald gets it out of the zone, down the ice. It's a foot race to it. Bloom chasing, going in against Hache. But Hache gets there first and sends it to the near side boards. Zito's there for North Bay. He stops it, plays it in the middle. That got knocked away by Barrie, and they send it down the ice. The Colts come over the blue line, get the puck to the middle of the zone, and then it's poked away. McDonald trying to go the other way. He could not get the puck going his way as it just ran out of steam at the line. Now it's out to the neutral zone. It's Zito on it for North Bay. He gets it up ahead to Nelson. Nelson centers it. He had procession there, but could not get a shot off. Now McDonald from the half boards. He sends it wide. Zito from the far side sends it in the front, and it's almost deflected off the skate of the Colts, but it stays out of the net. And now North Bay back in control. McDonald to the far side to Nelson. To the left side, Hislop takes a shot wide of the net. Bounces off the boards, back up high to McDonald on the near side. At the line, he'll walk in now. Sends it in front, deflected by Zito, just wide again, this time on the glove side. Now behind the net, North Bay in control again. Zito, McDonald shot, and it's saved by the goaltender Thornton. Halfway through the second period, North Bay lead 2-0, and we will take a break.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news or access the alumni job portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Halfway through the second, 2-0 North Bay. Derek, not as much animosity this period as we saw during the first period, but we thought that might happen with the coaching staffs calming their teams down.
Yeah, it seemed like both teams came out a little bit calmer in the second period. The crowd wasn't into it as much, but it has picked up here near the midway point of this second period as both teams are starting to pick up that animosity that was left in the first period. North Bay did get that quick goal, or got a goal in the second period. I thought maybe Arnsey making a mistake dropping that puck for Ben Steitzel, but it sure turned out for the good as the Battalion do take a 2-0 lead, and you can hear the fans getting back into it. But they did give up a couple odd man rushes on their last penalty kill, so that'll be a point of interest to watch going forward, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that the Battalion are going to want to clear up on their end.
Yeah, and you see a couple of great opportunities so far. If you're Barrie, it's kind of interesting because you're playing such a good defensive game so far in this one, but the Battalion have had a lot of opportunities in that last rush. McDonald, a couple of good opportunities, and it's been one of those games where it's tough because Barrie's playing well, but at the same time, you find yourself down 2-0 as we get into the second half of this hockey game, and it's big mountain to climb if you're the Colts.
Here come the Colts off the draw, down the right wing side. Joden loses it, but he gains it back and sends it behind the net. Brostowski now in the way, trying to get away from Jodwen. He centers it, the shot by Wiggle, and he scores. And the Colts have their first goal of the series. It's 2-1 in the second.
Well, we just said that it's what can you do if you're Barrie, and that's what it takes. It's just one shot. That's why Van Steitzel's goal is so important, because anything can happen at any given time. And Wiggle, you got to give a lot of credit. This was a shot that was perfect, top shelf off of over Dom DiVincenzo. There's not much that Dom could have done in that instance, and for Wiggle, as I just take a look at his numbers there, that's his first goal of the playoffs. Only had 2 points coming into this game, and that is really where that's where that depth scoring. We saw Van Steitzel with a little bit of depth scoring for the Battalion, and now Wiggle, who finds himself on that fourth line with Chisholm and Joydon, also getting goals. And so far the big boys, at least for Barrie, have been held quiet, but sometimes you just need some help from your fourth liners.
First goal of his postseason career for Wiggle. Now Tarasevich coming in, takes a shot, and the save is made by the goaltender Thornton. As the Battalion, we're looking to answer right back on the 2-1. So Wiggle was pointless in 5 playoff games last year for the Barrie Colts, and as he said, Ben, 2 assists in the first round last year, and now his first career playoff goal.
22-13, the shots now in favor of the Battalion, but don't think for a second that Barrie's down and out. We've talked about them playing such a good defensive game. They haven't gotten too many offensive chances, but again, all it takes is one good shot. And this is a series where it's going to come down to how well DiVincenzo and Thornton play for their respective teams, I think, because so far Thornton has done very good. He's making all the saves that he kind of needs to make. And to the same side on Dom, that just the goals that have gone in, not much you can do as a goaltender. And it's just one of those things where it's going to come down to who gets the better scoring opportunities.
Punnett has it in the far side corner, chips it along the boards to Matthews. Matthews trying to get it out, but then behind the play, Ertel got knocked down, and it's going to be a slashing call coming up against the Barrie Colts, trying to figure out, I believe it's Punnett that's getting punished there. So with 7:42 remaining in the second period, North Bay had 2-1 and Punnett called for slashing.
So Ertl laid the hit as he was skating away. Punnett gave him a nasty slash.
That's going to be his second time tripping the box this game. Okay, we talked about him leading the league, but these are the penalties. Like, there's the fighting majors and there's the rough stuff that you're kind of expected to do. These are the kind of penalties that your coach does not want you to take, because these are the penalties that now put you again. This is the 5th opportunity in this hockey game, which is really about 10 minutes worth of time that the Battalion, outside of the goal that they scored on the power play. It's been almost 9 minutes, I guess you could say, that they've been on power play.
Nelson to Jackson, one-timer, ripped wide of the net. It's up to the far side, kept in the zone. Across to the near side to Jackson now. Back to the far side to Petrov. Jackson in the middle. Gets the pass, takes a shot. Save made off the shoulder of the goaltender Thornton. And now it's back to the far side boards to Petrov. Petrov skates to the blue line. Sends it to the left side to Jackson. Takes a shot, save made. And the puck was loose on the doorstep, but nobody there except for white shirts. But they can't clear it. McDonald kept it in. Takes a shot and a save made by Thornton. Back out to the line. It's Jackson there. Walking in, taking the shot finally. But it's high. McDonald gets it to Nelson. Takes a shot and that one stopped. Loose puck in the slot. Zito picks it up, but he goes to the far side. Zito now skates to the blue line. Skates up ahead, now drops it back to the line to Nelson, who now finds Petrov on the right side boards. Petrov walking down, sends it back up high to Nelson. To Jackson, who's wide open. Walking in, takes a shot, and it went off the first player, off a second player and out. Now Nelson for the point. His shot comes in, and it's a save by Thornton. That one got all the way through, off the pads, and right back out to a spot where the Colts could clear it. We're already down to 30 seconds on this power play for the Battalion. But they've put up, I believe, 4 or at least 5 shots.
I believe it's 5.
Going into this. Now it's a secondary unit coming out there for North Bay. Romani sends it to the point. Winslow can't hold the blue line. Now he'll chip it back forward. And the Colts will wind some more time down. Now they'll play it forward up ahead to Jelsma, who was stationed at the blue line. Jelsma gets knocked down on the boards. And the Battalion are going to watch their power play time tick away. And they will be 1 for 5 now, I believe, on the power play. As Winslow comes racing out of his own zone, sending it into the corner. Now back to the half boards. Romani battling there for the puck for North Bay. Kicks it back to the blue line. Sent back into the corner. Now whipped off the glass and around to the near side, where Clark picks it up for the Colts, and he gets it out to the neutral zone. Takes a hit as he does that. In the neutral zone, McDonald for the Colts gets hit. And that allows North Bay to send the puck down the ice, but that will be icing called against the North Bay Battalion. 5:11 to play in the second period. 2-1 North Bay.
Well, a really good power play there for the Battalion. As you said, 5 shots and 5 really good opportunities, but a lot of credit to Barrie on their penalty kill. They clog up the high slot area. Pretty much every single rebound that came off of Thornton's pads were pretty much on a white stick, or if the Battalion player was there, they were so deep they were basically on Thornton, they couldn't get a good opportunity. So a lot of credit to Barrie's penalty kill on that one.
Off the draw, Kavanaugh plays it behind the net, picked up there by Cardwell. He'll skate down the right side, sends it back around behind the net to Vierling. He gets held on the boards by Tarasevich. Now he gets away from it, tries to send it to the line to Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's shot comes in, stop, played right in front of the net, and the Colts cannot bury it. And then after the play, hooking is going to be called, and it's going against the North Bay Battalion. 2 players were tied up in front of the net, and unfortunately, it's the Battalion player, Winslow, that draws the call.
Yeah, and either way, Winslow's saving a goal there, as it was a wide open net, and unfortunately, he's going to be the one called for hooking, which means the Battalion, who have been perfect on the penalty kill so far, are going to have to show that what was this #1 rated power penalty kill in the regular season. They're going to have to show what they can do here.
Clark off the draw, finds Vierling down the left side. Back up high to Clark in the middle. Walking to the far side. Now he tracks back to his left wing. Stops, and now he sends it to the left side boards of Vierling. It's out of the reach of Vierling, and it's sent to the blue line. But the Battalion can't get it out. It's shot back deep in the zone. Christopoulos is there on the far side, and he will send this puck skipping along out through the neutral zone. North Bay ahead 2-1, looking to keep it that way with another minute 25 remaining on this penalty kill. The Colts dump it into the far side corner, but Van Steensel's there, and Van Steensel sends it out to Arnsby going one-on-one in the zone. Arnsby didn't have a good lane, though, so he takes it to the far side boards, waits, kills some time, and then sends it back deep into the Barrie zone. And now Barrie have to break out of their own zone again, while North Bay's trying to clog up the neutral zone. Barrie bring the puck forward, Cardwell over the blue line. He gets poked off the puck as Ertel takes it away from him, and Ertel will send it all the way down the ice.
Again, the big thing is once you get the puck out of the zone, it's all about stopping the team from re-entering the zone. Battalion doing a very good job of that early on.
Ertel has fallen down on top of the puck in the far side corner, killing off some more time here on the PK. We're down to 35 seconds now. North Bay ahead 2-1 with 3:26 to play in the period as the Colts finally find the puck in the neutral zone and dump it down the ice. But it's off the glass, picked up by Nelson, and he just slaps it all the way back down the other way. 20 seconds remaining on this penalty kill for North Bay. Punt it to the far side. McDonnell coming in. McDonnell gets around a hit, but then goes flying as he just got a piece of Nelson. The puck comes to the near side boards. Barrie still in control. Chisholm and punt it, battling for it on the boards. North Bay find the puck and dump it down the ice. Out of the boxes, Winslow. We're back to 5-on-5. North Bay's lead still intact with 2:40 to play in the second period. 2-1 lead. Here comes Savard. He gets knocked down hard by Christopoulos going into the zone. And now Christopoulos finds the puck, gets it up to McDonald. McDonald down the left wing for Petrov. One-on-one in the zone. Petrov drops it back. Shot save made. And McDonald could not get the rebound. It was right there in the slot, but he was sliding in backwards and could not get control of the puck. Now the Barrie Colts on the counter. It's Kavanaugh playing it in behind the net. Matthews has it now. Looking to center it. Gets it there. Now up to the line. Cholach sends it in. Deflected wide. Rebound chance at the side of the net. And it goes off the side. Might have actually gone off DiVincentis. And then DiVincentis kicked the post off its mooring. So that brings the play down with 2:06 remaining in the second period. 2-1 North Bay lead.
Well, somebody who doesn't get a lot of recognition is Christopoulos. He's a guy you don't really talk about, but he quietly goes about his business defensively. And he's a very good defenseman, and we've seen it here. He's had a couple of big block shots. He had a huge hit earlier in that play as well. And you got to give him a lot of credit as he's had a very good game on the defensive end for the Battalion.
28 shots to 14. That is... And again, probably could be more had the Barrie Colts not blocked. What do you think they have, 10, 12?
At least.
Here comes Romani down the left wing side. Plays it back up to the blue line. Across to the right side to Winslow. Winslow towards the slot. Takes a shot. That goes just wide. In the far side corner, Romani's there. Trying to find the puck. Trying to get it to Procession. Wakely gets involved. Getting around a couple of guys. Goes back to the far side boards. Plays it down low to Procession. He'll send it back up high to Hislop. Across the near side to Winslow. Winslow takes a shot, deflected, and it just goes high. Procession got his stick there just in time, but could not redirect it where he wanted it. Comes back up high to Winslow at the line. Goes to the far side boards. Puts on the brakes. Now into the corner. He's held there. Pressure there. North Bay looking to make a change as Winslow is the only man out there. Romani now goes to join him as the Battalion gets some fresh legs out there. Winslow still down in the corner, and now the officials blow the play dead with 1:02 remaining in the second period. 2-1 North Bay lead.
Well, something we haven't been able to say too often in this playoff was that so far in the first 39 minutes of this hockey game, the Battalion playing a very good game. And we've seen the Battalion kind of be wishy-washy from period to period. They've continued to play a very good hockey game. And again, I think Wiggles' goal was a huge goal for the Barrie Colts. They haven't had a lot of opportunities on DiVincentis, but they've capitalized on one of them at least. And now all of a sudden, instead of this being a 2-0 lead going into the third period, it becomes a much tighter game, and anything can happen as you can tell. With it could be very close to being a tie game at any point. So a huge break for Barrie getting that wiggle goal, and I think that might come back to play in the last 20 minutes.
Face off inside the Barrie zone to the glove side of the goaltender Thornton. Van Steensel wins it. Drops it back to Nelson. Nelson takes a shot. That one got through, but it went off the pads of Thornton and to the far side boards. Picked up there by the Colts. They send it around to the near side. They are able to clear it as it got past the stick of Christopoulos. In the neutral zone, Arnsby flips it forward, and the Battalion come right back in the zone. Sent around to the near side boards. Arnsby throws a hit on Vierling. Christopoulos jumps into the play to find the puck. He sends it around behind the net, along the boards to the far side, picked up there by the Colts, and they get it out of the zone. In the neutral zone, Ty Nelson has it for North Bay. Sends it forward again for Van Steensel. He comes in, he gets tied up, he gets knocked down by Akey, and Akey gets away from that play in a hurry. The Colts can't clear. It goes off a stanchion. Picked up by Van Steensel, puts it on net. But the save is made, and again, a blocked shot with Connor Punnett getting in the way. Arnsby throws a hit, gets the puck back, sends it to the slot, no one there. Now up to the line, Nelson with a whack at it, trying to keep it in. 2 seconds to go. Nelson takes a shot. Blocker save made by the goaltender, Thornton, and the 20 minutes has expired. 2-1 the score for the North Bay Battalion at the end of 40.
Yeah, again, we look at the shots, 30-14 in favor of the Battalion. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the score. And again, with Wiggles' goal, finding the back of the net against Dom DeVincentis, it's still only a one-goal game. We talked about how good the Battalion in our third periods, but this playoff, they've struggled with third period leads. It's going to be a big 20 minutes, and it's going to be an exciting finish to this hockey game.
Absolutely. The Battalion get a goal thanks to Van Steensel, but Wiggle gets one back for the Barrie Colts, and at the end of 40 minutes, it's the Battalion 2, the Barrie Colts 1, here in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Derek and Ben will break down the second period here in our intermission. You're watching the Frontline broadcast presented by Average Joe's right here on YouTube. Stay tuned.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sukram, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens, where both teams respond in the second period, and the Battalion still have a 1-goal lead, leading 2-1 over the Barrie Colts through 40 minutes. Just quickly, great advertisement there for the Frontline Podcast. The recent episode dropped it last night at midnight. You can get it now on the Frontline broadcast everywhere, podcast wherever you get your podcast information, whether it be Apple, Spotify, Google. Ben, you were on the latest episode with Matt Sukram and Courtney Kenny. What did you guys talk about?
Yeah, so the first little bit we talked about the Voodoos and how they played with the Timmins Rock. Of course, they got swept, unfortunately. We kind of went over a little bit of the season as a whole. Then, of course, we talked about the Mississauga Steelheads in that series, kind of the good, the bad, and then, of course, the Barrie Colts and what we were teeing up. And we kind of made our predictions. My prediction was, personally, if they win the first 2 at home, it'll be a 5 games, Battalion win. If they split, I think it's going to be 6 games, but I think the Battalion still come out ahead. But overall, there's a lot of interesting things on that podcast. So just you might as well listen. I believe it's also up on YouTube as well to watch.
Yeah, you can watch the full episode right here on the Frontline YouTube channel. But let's get back to the game at hand as we take a look at the second period's scoring summary. Owen Van Steensel increased the lead to 2 with his first of the postseason at 440 from Arnsby and Christopoulos, but the Barrie Colts do get that one back at the 11:47 mark as Zach Wiggle gets his first of the postseason from Ronick Jodouin. 3 penalties in that second period as things kind of calmed down a little bit. Brandon Hache went off for a delay of game at 6:09. Connor Punnett with his second penalty of the game for slashing at 12:18, and then eventually Avery Winslow went off for the Battalion for hooking at 15:10. Looking at the power play numbers for the night, the Battalion 1 for 5 with the man advantage. Meanwhile, the Barrie Colts are 0 for 3. Shots through 2 periods of play as the Battalion get another 17 shots in that second period for a game total of 30. Meanwhile, the Barrie Colts put another 7 on goal, 14 now in the game, and face-offs, the Barrie Colts lead a 25-15 advantage to start play with the puck. Taking a look around the OHL as all 4 series are on tap tonight on this Friday night around the OHL. First off in London, the London Knights are up 6-1 now late in the second period. If that score holds out, the London Knights will take a 2-0 lead over the Kitchen Rangers. And in Ottawa, it's the Petes and 67 still deadlocked, this time at 2 through 2 periods, and also through 2 in Sarnia as the Sting hold a 1-0 lead over the visiting Saginaw Spirit. Taking a look at some Major League Sports action this evening. First off, in the Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. That's in the bottom of the 5th. Rays starting off hot in the start of the season, winning their first 13 games. 2 games in the NHL tonight. First off, the Columbus Blue Jackets have a 1-0 lead over the Buffalo Sabres, and in Nashville tonight, late in the first period, the Avalanche are out to a quick 3-1 lead in that game. But let's get back to this game, Ben. Very interesting second period. Didn't get out to the quick physical start that we saw at the beginning of the game. A little more calmer to start the second period. Van Steensel getting on the board. I thought maybe Arnsby made a mistake and with that drop pass.
Yeah, and obviously Van Steensel, a guy who's not necessarily known for his shot, as we've seen him do a lot of great things, and he proves us wrong as he makes a really nice kind of slap shot right into the back of the net past a really good goaltender, Nansen Thornton. On top of that, as you said, I think there was probably some sort of conversation from both teams in the dressing room after the first 20 minutes of making sure you're not taking too many bad penalties. Barrie continues to do that. We see Punnett again going off for another penalty, and the Battalion now they've spent a good amount of time on the power play at this point in this hockey game, and I think Barrie needs to be a lot more disciplined. But I think overall, you've got to give this period again to the North Bay Battalion. They played very well. They did not give a lot of opportunities to the Barrie Colts offensively. Unfortunately, one of the best opportunities they had, Wiggle put the puck in a perfect spot by DiMincentis' top shelf over the blocker. But for the most part, I think the Battalion played a very good game. And again, both teams playing really good defense so far.
And that shot by Wiggle coming through a crowd, finding that top corner over top of the blocker of DiMincentis, coming at a very important time as that came out just after the mid-period break. They were trailing 2-0 at the time, and it's now a 1-goal game, setting up for a really interesting third period. Marty Williamson, he's got to be happy with the road game, even though they are down 2-1. It's still 20 minutes of hockey, anyone's game here.
Well, if you go into this period down 2-0, I think you're a little bit more reserved in the final 20 with the way that this is shooken out. The fact that Wiggle got that goal and made it 2-1 is huge, because now, again, anything can happen at any point to tie this game up. And even though Barrie's kind of being outplayed by the Battalion, especially on an offensive standpoint and a scoring chance standpoint, all it takes, again, is one shot, one opportunity to have a chance of tying this hockey game up. And who knows what happens then.
While looking at stats after 2 periods of play, the Battalion almost perfect in their record. 39 times they've been leading after 2 periods, 37-1, 0-1 after if they're leading after 2. Meanwhile, the Barrie Colts 9-13, 2-2 after when they're trailing after 2. So things setting up. If you're happy and a logistics person and you're looking at those stats, you got to be happy with the way the Battalion have performed in the third period with the lead, but the way we've seen it played here recently, things are different than what those numbers seem to say.
Well, and again, you look, they go into Game 6, they're up 5-1 going to the third period. They almost blow that. They end up winning 5-4. That's where it gets a little sketchy. They haven't played the best in third periods lately in the playoffs, and just from, again, looking at from an eye test perspective. So I think this will be the fact that the Battalion have played 20, 40 really good minutes, and they haven't really done that against Mississauga. I think that bodes really well for them going to this final 20, but this is going to be interesting. I think if the Battalion come out here, they shut down Barrie, they take this game 2-1, I think you've got to be really, you've got to be very excited and very optimistic about how the rest of the series is going to go compared to how, when you look at how they played in this hockey game. And so far, this is the way the Battalion have to play against really good teams, and they've shown Barrie the team that they can be, and we've seen some of that secondary scoring with Owen Van Steetzel. Obviously, Barrie also getting some secondary scoring with Wiggle, but at the end of the day, they've done a fantastic job of playing defensively, offensively, and just Dom being Dom again.
And I think this third period, it's going to go a long way in setting the tone for this series. It's only a one-goal game. Battalion know how important it is to hold on to this game and come out of here with that lead to keep home ice advantage. Meanwhile, the Barrie Colts, they're only one shot away from tying things up. Ryan Houlihan, is that message to come out and sit back like we've seen in the past, or keep his foot on the pedal and keep doing what the Battalion have done so far here in the first 40?
They need to basically play the exact same game that they played in the first 40 minutes. I always talk about how when you have the puck in the offensive zone, you can't be scored on, right? So by playing an offensive, not necessarily super pinchy and taking a lot of chances, but if you can play the same game that you've been playing, which is great defense, but also, killing time in the offensive zone, killing time where you can find it, that'll be huge. And if Barrie, it's going to be all about, can they stay out of the penalty box? That's going to be a big key for them.
Okay, I'm going to bring in producer Ben Long here now. You've been here for 2 years now. We've been doing a broadcast. This is probably the most fans we've seen in a game, and really the loudest that we've seen. How have you felt with the atmosphere in Memorial Gardens tonight?
Yeah, it's really been exciting, and good for all the fans coming out and supporting the boys here on their run. I think if we can keep seeing stuff like this, there's going to be a long, successful future of hockey in North Bay, and I think it makes it a great place for players to want to come to. And, yeah, I think that it speaks volume for just the town itself, but the culture in the dressing room and how that spreads out.
So, between the benches, we were joined this period by the photographer of the Barrie Colts, and I asked him about Connor Punnett and those penalties, and he said that's not like him when he sees them away from playing against North Bay. It seems like there's something with playing against North Bay that draws that out of him, as he's drawn 2 penalties. How does he have to perform to stay as a critical player in this series?
Well, I think he has to stay on that edge and keep playing a physical game, right? That's what he does. That's why he's here. He has to play that way, but he has to make sure he's not taking those slashes after. He's not making, maybe throwing that little extra elbow in during the hit. He has to keep you clean, but he can't take that physical edge away.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, there's penalties when you take a lot of penalty minutes. That's the good part, right? Because what happens is that you're taking the fighting, you're stepping up for the teammates. Those are the penalties that you kind of want to take. And it's not a bad thing to lead in penalty minutes, but it's, again, as you were saying, like when you take the slashes and those extra hits, the penalties you don't need to take, that's where it can really kind of pull your hair out as a coach. And Punnett's the kind of guy that at the end of the year you almost have no hair left, because when he plays up against the Battalion, it's just all these penalties, they come back to haunt you. And you look at this game, and you talk about time management. I know it's something you see in the NFL all the time, but every penalty kills 2 minutes off the clock, assuming that they don't get a shorthanded goal. So you see he does it. All of a sudden, let's say he gets another penalty in the third period. It's now an 18-minute period when you kind of think about it that way.
So just on the note of him playing this way in North Bay is kind of interesting as well. This is considered a hometown game for him, but his minor hockey is playing in the municipality of Powassan. And I know from playing in Powassan, you always have that chip on your shoulder when you're playing against North Bay. So he grew up with that chip on his shoulder playing against North Bay, trying to say, oh, you think you're the big guys from the city, eh? We'll show you. And I don't think that ever goes away.
No, and it truly is there. Another player of interest, Brant Clark, didn't look like he played the same as he did in his first. His time on the ice was way down in that second period, only getting spot time on the ice. I think that injury from that first period is is playing a little bit with him.
I think so too, but even in the 40 minutes we've seen him, he hasn't really taken any shots on net. We haven't seen him be an aggressive player. We haven't seen him be that player who puts 17 points on the board against Hamilton. He really is not, and again, we talk about the Battalion shutting him down. This is a guy who's only got 1 point in 2 games against the Battalion. They've done a great job of shutting him down, Cardwell down, Vierling, McDonald, all the guys they need to shut down, they've done, and so far that's been a good thing. But again, Brant Clark needs to find out a way to be a difference maker in this hockey game, and so far he just hasn't been that person.
Yeah, Brant Clark, one of our players to watch, along with Ty Nelson, as they are brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor.
Players to Watch is brought to you by Mike the Financial Advisor. If you have financial questions, he has financial answers. On Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Mike the FA.
Our players to watch tonight, like I talked about, Brant Clark still held off the scoreboard, did suffer an injury in the first period. Meanwhile, Ty Nelson with that opening goal of the series for the North Bay Battalion as they lead 2-1 here after 40 minutes of play. When we come back, Matt Sucrum will rejoin Ben Sargent with all of your third period action here as you are watching Colts Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Welcome back. I'm Matthew Sucrum alongside Ben Sargent. There's 20 minutes on the clock, and that's all that's left in regulation. And right now, the North Bay Battalion have a 2-1 lead over the Barrie Colts. They're looking to finish things off here, but Barrie looking to come on strong here in the third.
As you said, Matt, it's going to be an interesting third period. The Battalion, again, all it takes is one opportunity here for the Barrie Colts to tie things up, but a good opportunity for the Battalion to prove that they can win these tight games after leading after 40.
McDonald to Zito in the neutral zone, and they go offside. McDonald tried to hold the line, but Zito comes across in time.
Well, no surprise, Kyle McDonald, 7 goals in 6 games in that first series, 2 assists for a total of 9 points. Held off the score sheet tonight, so he's had a couple of good opportunities, but I'm telling you, if we could see how many block shots there are in this game, it's probably be some kind of record at this point. It feels like there's almost been as many block shots as shots on net for the Battalion.
Yeah, they are up to 30 right now. And have just allowed 14 against. Christopoulos dumps it down the ice. Picked back up by Cardwell. Takes a shot. That one's turned aside, but Clark picks it up. Clark driving down the middle. Clark to the right side. Feeds it in front. Loose puck. A couple of whacks at it, and it's cleared away by North Bay. They'll send it down the ice for icing with 19:19 remaining. In the regular season, The North Bay Battalion were 37-1-1 when they led after 2 periods of play, and that's the position they find themselves in right now.
Well, Brent Clark, we talked about in between the periods, he's got to get going and doing something, and finally he's starting to be that difference maker, but we talked, he only has 1 assist in 2 games against the North Bay Battalion, still kept off the score sheet, so he could be a big catalyst for the battalion, or sorry, for the Colts in this game.
The battalion trying to keep a streak intact here. They are 7-0 at Memorial Gardens in the opening game of a playoff series.
And those are such big games. If you can set the tone with a win, that's huge, especially when you have home ice advantage. Gives you a chance to sweep the first 2 games. And that puts you in a really good spot to win the series.
Here come the Colts. Cardwell to the line. Cholach to the left side. That's Clark. Clark takes a shot. That gets blocked, and now Ertel breaks out of the zone. It's a 3-on-1 the other way. Ertel down the right side. Puts on the brakes, finds Jackson. Jackson takes a shot, but he lifts it high. Ertel trying to get the puck back, and now he can't. It's a 2-on-2 the other way, but now a couple of players will change, and that just sends Savard in by himself. Takes a shot, and that one goes high as well. Big collision on the far side. That allows Jackson to break out, sends it to the right side boards, but the pass can't be completed going the other way. And now it's sent into the Barrie zone, but North Bay are way offside. Ertel will backtrack and come out to the neutral zone with the Colts bringing it forward with 18 minutes to play in the period. There's a shot, blocker save made, and then it went off the back of Nelson and then right back towards DiVincentis, who had to make another quick save. But the Colts back in control. Jelsma with it at the line, takes a shot, off his skate, redirected to the far side. Picked up there by Nelson. He shovels it along the boards and gets it out to the neutral zone. The Barrie Colts looking dangerous through the first 2.5 minutes of this period. And the battalion looking to show some bounce back here quickly. They chip it forward, turn it over. Barrie coming through the neutral zone, dumping it down right towards DiVincentis, who punches it into the far side. Bowden plays it in front of the net. DiVincentis has to jump on it and smother it. And now Bowden and a couple of players going at it.
Well, I think they're both going off to the box here as the referee pointing towards there as DiVincentis dives after that puck as it's loose and kind of gets a bit of a headshot from Bowden, not on purpose, but just as he skates through the slot area as DiVincentis way out of his net, and it looks like Procession and Bowden both going off here. But again, no shots on net, and so far a couple for Barrie as they best I think couple minute stretch that wasn't on a power play for Barrie so far in a good start of the 3 minutes, and it looks like it'll be 4-on-4 as they are not coincidental minors, so a little bit of more open ice.
17-15 remaining, and we'll see who takes advantage of that open ice, Ben. Battalion up 2-1. They had a 2-0 lead up until the 11:47 mark of the second period when Wiggle scored his first career playoff goal. So now off the draw, Clark with it. Takes a shot, scores! This game is tied. Brent Clark, as he blows a kiss to the crowd, has tied things up for the Barrie Colts here in Game 1.
Well, we said he had to get things going, and that's exactly what he did. He had a great opportunity early in the period, and that right there shows him, again, his first goal against the battalion this season, and it's just a great, very similar to the shot that Ty Nelson had earlier on in this period, and unfortunately DiVincentis not able to handle that, and we talked about how there was more ice open as now he goes over to the penalty box as well. And all of a sudden we talked about it, all it takes is one shot to change this game, and now we're tied. Now it's going to be an interesting 17 minutes.
So what do the battalion have to do now to recapture the lead, do you think?
They got to start getting momentum back on their side. They haven't really spent any time in the offensive zone, but they've got to start doing what they've done all game, which is really put a lot of pressure on Thornton and try and get a couple of better shots on him.
Brent Clark with his 6th postseason goal. Here comes a shot coming in, and the save is made as Thornton flashes the leather once again. 1:33 to go in the penalties here to Procession and Bowden. 16:48 remaining in the third period. 2-2 the score.
Now here the battalion again. We talked about them getting back momentum, and it's the guy on the ice right there, number 19, Kyle McDonald. I think he's going to be a big part of this hockey game as We haven't seen him. He's been around the puck a little bit. No goals in this game, but I bet you he's wouldn't be surprised if he's the next one to put one in the back of the net.
Coming out through the neutral zone, down the left wing side with speed going into the zone. The Colts send it towards the net. That goes wide. Picked up back behind the net. They try to send it to the far side corner. Battalion defenseman Hislop gets in the way. And now trying to skate out of the zone with it, but he overskates the puck. Picks it up, sends it back behind the net for Nelson, and he sends it to the neutral zone for Zito. Pasquale Zito coming down, going to the left side of the zone. Zito behind the net, sets it up to Nelson. Nelson to the left side, Winslow. Winslow sends it on net. That one's just batted away by the goaltender Thornton. Behind the net, McDonald looking for control of it. McDonald gets tied up back there. And that allows the Colts to break out of the zone and send it back down the ice, and now they control it in the attacking end. They put it in the middle of the zone. Winslow easily skates that one out of that area. And he sends it up ahead to Christopoulos. Christopoulos chips it off the boards, follows it to the corner, sends it around to the far side. Tarasevic pinching in. He'll slap it back along the end boards, and it's picked up there by Clark. Clark skates up, and now he sends it back to Vierling in front of his own net. Vierling gets around Tarasevic, and he heads out of the zone. Cardwell drops it back from the blue line to Clark. We're about to get back to 5-on-5 as Vierling picks up the puck. Vierling in the middle to Cardwell. Cardwell behind the net to Vierling. Vierling in the far side corner as the two players jump out of the boxes. Vierling tries to pass it to the middle of the zone. It gets past everybody and clears the zone, and now Clark, who's getting booed when he touches the puck by the Battalion crowd here, sends it back into the zone. 14:50 to play in the third period. 2-2 the score. Here comes Erdl dumping it down, and it's sent away by the blocker of Thornton. On the far side boards now, Erdl trying to get it out, and as he tried to get to the middle of the zone, he had his stick around Savard, I believe, and he tried to let go of his stick. Savard held it against him, and now Erdl is getting called for a hook. And this is a dangerous moment of the game here now for the North Bay Battalion.
Well, a very pivotal penalty kill. We talked about, again, how good Barrie's power play has been in the first round. So far, they've been shut out here in this game. They've got a 5-on-5 goal, a 4-on-4 goal, and this is going to be big. But the Battalion have looked very good on the last couple of penalty kills. It'll be very interesting to see if they can do it one more time here. And again, this is kind of one of those games where it feels like the next goal is going to be the game-winning one at this point. With how these teams have played defensively. Both teams playing very good games, and probably the best game we've seen the Battalion play all playoffs.
The Colts turn it over off the draw, but the Battalion can't get going forward. Liam Arnsby picked it off, but then overskated the puck as he tried to control it. So that allows the Colts to come right back in to the North Bay zone. It's on the far side boards, and North Bay pick up the puck, and it's sent down the ice. Go ahead.
I was just going to say a big part of why Arnsby couldn't get going too, with a really nice stick as well.
14 minutes to play in the third period. Here comes Punnett towards the side of the net. It's knocked away, and the Battalion shoot it over the glass and out of play. But Christopoulos is the culprit there. He's saying that it went off his stick, and now
the one referee is saying, I thought the one referee waved it off. The other referee called the penalty. And Christopoulos is saying it went off the shaft of his stick, but he's going off, and now there's going to be a 5-on-3 opportunity for Barrie, so all of a sudden.
And I think that the coaching staff want the officials to take a look at it, but I don't know if that's a reviewable play or not.
Well, it was just weird because, again, it looked like the one referee said it wasn't a penalty, and it was the one that was kind of behind the play that signaled, and the crowd is not happy here. But how about a minute 21 5-on-3, and then another 39 seconds on the power play. So this is, again,
yikes.
It now becomes even more pivotal in a tie game with 14 minutes to go.
Barrie win the draw back to Clark. Clark to the left side, back up to Clark, to the right side, shot coming in, and it's blocked by Arnsby in front of the net. Arnsby rushes over to the boards, gets the puck loose to Nelson, and Nelson clears it down the ice. 1:05 remaining in the penalty to Erdl. 1:40 in the Christopoulos penalty. 2 the score with 13:30 to play in the third, and the puck is brought back down the ice. Cardwell gets hit on the boards by Hislop, but it goes to the point to punt it. Punt it across the zone to Clark. Plays it into the corner. Back up high to Clark. Clark with room. Plays it down low. Back up high to punt it. Skates to the circle. Now he sends it across to Clark. Clark goes to the middle of the zone. Plays it down low across, and it's in. The puck went off the stick of Frasca, who is right in front of the net. Deflects it past DiVincentis, and the Barrie Colts have a 3-2 lead in the third period, and they will remain on the power play as that one comes on the 5-on-3.
We talked about this being a pivotal part. We talked about Barrie's power play being so good in the first round. And again, this is just really textbook great power plays. They continue to creep in, put a little bit of kind of squeeze the box of the Battalion a bit, and that gives a great opportunity. The biggest difference on the penalty kills, though, the Battalion giving a great opportunity. I think the referees are going to look at it, though, to see if the net was knocked off before the puck went in the net. So that opens up another question of if they think DiVincentis did it intentionally, that would be a delay, or now an offside. Not too sure where the offside would have been, but
I don't know either.
Clark's trying to plead his case. This would be very interesting.
Ben Long, do you know what needs to happen for them? I mean, I guess it's a moot point if they're not reviewing the goalie kicking the net off, but what would constitute that? Because how can you say that he wouldn't have put it in if the net had moved? You know what I mean? Like, the puck didn't.
So, theoretically, the play's not supposed to go dead as soon as the net goes off. There was a Brandon Kogel at the end of last year that was scored.
So, okay, continue. We're looking at whether it is an offside or not.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it was offside.
It might be an offside here. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
So, the play is supposed to continue as if the post stayed where it's supposed to be.
That's what I was thinking, yes.
So if he kicks it off and the puck goes in between where the posts are supposed to be, it should be called a good goal.
So thankfully, that's not what they're reviewing.
No, that's not the review here at all, but there's a useless hockey rule information for y'all.
Well, the Battalion may have caught a huge break if this, we didn't get an amazing angle. It looks like he was well offside, but again, because it wasn't called on the ice, it has to be conclusive. And this is one of those ones where if you're the Battalion, you love the offside challenge, and if you're the Barrie, you think it's the worst thing in the world, and every team's been on both sides of this. No goal. They call it back.
But now, here's the thing, if you're North Bay, time is going to roll back to whenever that play happened. So they're going to put some more time back on the power play clock. Erdl is going back into the box. The score remains 2-2.
But I think they'll take that over what it was before. I think it's 30 seconds, I believe, as the clock's now at 13:35.
Yeah, there is quite some time that led with the Colts having control of the puck.
We didn't even realize that it could be an offside challenge. It just
felt
like Barrie had it.
It was, and I'm sorry I missed the player that brought the puck in, but he went to the line, and then he dragged the puck behind him, and then went over, and it was the player on the far side who went in thinking that the player on the near side was just going to come over the line. He completely missed that he dragged the puck back.
And they're on opposite
and that
ends. There's
could
so many bodies in the way.
That's right.
Not surprising that the referee couldn't catch that, especially if on the side closest to where the puck was. So it looks like 55 seconds will be on the power play on the 4-on-3 or 5-on-3. 13:35 put on the clock, and it's still a 2-2 game. So the Battalion, that might be the TSN turning point of this hockey game.
So like you said, 20 seconds put back on the clock here. Let's see if the Battalion can do anything with it. Here comes Cardwell. Drops it to the line to Clark. Clark at the blue line. Cuts to the far left side. That's the side he likes to shoot from, at least in this game anyway. Holding it at the left side circle. Plays it back down low. Back up high to Clark. Clark now crosses to punt it. Now he sends it down low. Shot comes in. Save made. And then DiVincentis holds on to it.
Again, you see Barrie squeezing that box tighter and tighter as they're really trying to put a lot of pressure on DiVincentis and the Battalion.
I mean, Frasca is literally inside the crease.
Yep. And you can tell what you see is Punnin and Clark coming in. They're almost right at the circles, at the face-off circles. And that just shows you, again, you put so much pressure on that defense, but it also opens you up for the chance of giving a breakaway up the other way. We know how good the Battalion are short-handed.
Off the draw, Nelson whips it down the ice. 15 seconds remaining in the penalty to Hertel with 12:50 to play in the third period. 2-2 the score remains. Punnett coming down the right wing side. Across the left side to Clark. Clark holding it. Plays it back down low. Back up high. Punnett fires it. Blocked by Ormsby. And sent down the ice. And Hertel is the only guy in the zone. But behind the net is controlled by Thornton. And he gets it past Hertel and sends it back out to the neutral zone. It's 5-on-4 for another 25 seconds. Cardwell dumps it in to the far side to Clark. Clark overskates the puck. Kennedy trying to hold on to it. He's battling Frasca there. The Frasca gets the puck to Veerling. Now back up high to Clark. Clark to the circle, takes a shot. Blocked and cleared down the ice. 8 seconds ago, and Christopoulos is about to come out of the box, and the Battalion will go back to 5-on-5 with the game still tied at 2 with 12 minutes to play in the third. Now Akey down the middle, drops it to the left side. That one's turned away, and North Bay get out of the zone with it. Hertel dumps it down the ice. In behind the net. Hache gets it away from Hertel, plays it to the far side. Collision on the far side boards, and the Colts get it out of the zone. Now North Bay at the blue line, bring it back over. Hertel with a shot, blocker save made by Thornton. It goes to the far side boards. Nelson has it, carries it behind the net, plays it into the corner for Jackson. Jackson coming back down to the near side boards, trying to get some help from Hertel. Hertel helps him out, carries it to the corner himself. Now he's in a battle there with Bowden. Bowden sends it to the line. Brostowski sends it back down the left side boards for Petrov. He will skate to the blue line. Now crosses to the right side of the zone. Puts on the brake, sends it back to Brostowski. He takes a shot, deflected, and it goes high. Bounces off the glass. Played back in by Winslow. He will dump it deep into the zone, and that line will change for North Bay as the Colts look to get it out. They get it onto the stick of Bowden, and Bowden coming down the right wing side. Bowden plays it on that. That one sent past the slot to the far side boards. Bowden follows it over there. He plays it now behind the net, and it's Winslow who picks it off for North Bay. 10:40 to play. 2-2 the score in the third. North Bay bringing it out of the zone as Petrov dumping it down the ice. Whipped around the boards, comes up to the Barrie blue line. They get a pass in the neutral zone, and it's carried down the right wing by Jelsma. He plays it across to the far side corner where Christopoulos tries to whack at it. He can't get it out of the zone. Into the near side corner, McDonald is there. Plays it behind the net for Jelsma. Plays it back up high. Punnett shot comes in, and it goes just wide of DiVincentis. Now on the near side boards, North Bay win the puck back. Van Steensel gets it out of the zone to Wakely. Wakely goes over the blue line, takes a shot, blocked in the slot. Picked up by Romani. Romani drives towards the net. Plays it to the left side corner to Wakely. Back up high to Hislop. Across to the right side, Nelson. Nelson gets the shot. It's kicked into the far side corner. Now behind the net. Couple of guys battling for it. It comes back up high in the zone. Controlled by Savard. He gets it out to McDonald, who comes down the right wing side. McDonald falls down as Hislop makes the hit, and it's sent to the far side. North Bay back in control, and North Bay come out of the zone with it. Romani with 9:30 to play dumps it in. 2-2 the score as Hache gets to it for the Colts in his own zone, and the Colts will take their time looking for a lane to get it out. They find that lane down the right wing for Jodwin, and Jodwin comes in, takes a shot, save made by DiVincentis. Play behind the net. Hislop has it. Sends it up the middle for Zito. Zito turns back. Now he looks down the middle. He's got some room down the left wing side. Zito coming in, dumps it down. Going up against Cholach. It's played into the near side corner for Bloom. He'll carry it down. Now he'll try to play it back in the corner, but it's flipped up out of the zone by the Colts. In the neutral zone, Christopoulos has it for North Bay. He plays it forward to McDonald. McDonald coming down through the middle, cuts to the right side, takes a shot that just goes wide. Might have even touched the blocker of Thornton there. 8.5 to play in the third period. Here comes Veerling. He tries to get around Winslow. Winslow pressures him and puts him into the end boards. Veerling gets away from that. Plays it back up high to Akey. Akey plays it back down low, but McDonald breaks it up for North Bay. Sends it to the far side to Zito, who finds Van Steensel. Van Steensel gets clipped coming out of the zone, and there's no call coming. The Barrie player He didn't stick out his leg, but it was pretty close. And Van Steensel, I think he's lucky he's not hurt. Now the puck is sent down the ice.
He almost got called for too many men on the ice. His pundit almost touched it.
Wow.
That's why the crowd got a little reactive there.
The Colts maybe getting away with at least one, if not two there. Van Steensel gets it out to Tarasevic. Coming down the right wing side. Takes a shot. Kicked away by Thornton. It goes way up in the air. Comes back down. And that should be a hand pass. No? Okay. I thought the defender knocked it away, but Thornton must have got a touch on it. 7:25 to go in the third period. 2-2 the score. Hard hit thrown on the far side boards. There hasn't been a stoppage in play since the period ended. Now there's a chance right on DiVincentis, and the save is made, but the Battalion are getting called for something here. And I'm not sure what it is.
Looks like Ertel going off for hooking again. I believe. Oh no, they're taking Petra. It looks like Petra, maybe. We'll have to wait after the mid-period break there, but either way, the Battalion are going to have to kill off another 2 minutes.
So let's take our break, and then we'll hear from Derek downstairs. We'll be right back.
This period is brought to you by Canada Alumni Perks. Get information on special events and news, or access the Alumni Job Portal. Visit canadacollege.ca/perks for more information.
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
This period is brought
Tonight's 3 Stars is brought to you by Dave's Auto.
All right, Derek. Battalion going back on the power play, or back on the penalty kill, not the position they want to be in right now after killing off the 5-on-3.
No, not a spot you want to be in, especially with 7 minutes left in this game, knowing how important this next goal is in this 2-2 tie. They got a big kill on that almost a full 2 minute of a 5-on-3 with a little help of that offside call for the disallowed goal. But this is going to be a very pivotal 2 minutes for the North Bay Battalion. If they can find a way to kill off this penalty, it's going to set them up good for the final 5 minutes to make a push for that go-ahead goal, Matt.
Thanks for that, Derek. As you said, 7 minutes left, and yeah, this is a huge moment here for the North Bay Battalion. Now, the officials are getting together and chatting about something. Now, remember, the Battalion felt they never should have been on a 5-on-3. Christopoulos on the delay of game.
Thought it hit his shaft.
That's right. So then the goal happens.
Now,
it gets
Petros
overturned.
Coming out of the box. Oh, they're switched. So I did say it was, they pointed at Ertel, and then Petrov went to the box, and now they're going to say they're going to confirm that it was Ertel who got the hooking penalty, but still, they were given a gift. Remember, Matt, Barrie scored on that 5-on-3, but it was an offside that brought it back. The Battalion then took care of it. They killed the penalty off, but here we go again. We'll see if Barrie can do the same thing here, but block shots have been a big difference maker in this game for both teams.
And right off the draw, North Bay send it down the ice.
And all of a sudden you look at shots on goal coming in this period, it was 30 to 14, now it's 34-22. Just shows how much Barrie has dominated this period so far.
Yeah, the Battalion with just 4 shots in this period. Barrie bring the puck back down into the zone. On the far side, Jelsma has it, and Jelsma gets run into the boards by Arnsby. What a hit by the captain, and that allows the Battalion to clear the puck down the ice. Arnsby, no fear on this guy, right? I mean, throwing some hits, had a fight in the first period.
Good for Jelsma, though. He gets hit. He gets up immediately, looks for the puck. Arnsby forgot about the puck and almost didn't clear it out of the zone.
Now here come the Colts towards the net. Poke check save made by DiVincentis. He goes back up high to Clark. Clark to the middle, takes a shot. That one goes wide of the net. A couple of guys race towards it on the far side, but the Colts end up with possession. They send it to the half boards. Now it's back up high to Clark. Clark to the right side to Cardwell. Back to Clark. Holding it at the blue line. Sends it to the left side. Savard plays it down low to Frasca. Tries to play it through the slot. That got blocked. North Bay can't clear it, though. Clark has it at the blue line again. 35 seconds on the power play. Takes a shot. It goes towards the net and then deflected wide. Vierling has it in the near, check that, Jelsma has it on the near side corner. He's being pressured by Hislop. Now Frasca fights Jelsma, skating in front, save made, rebound is loose on the doorstep, and North Bay get it cleared, and they can't get it out of the zone though. Pass down low, Hislop's there diving on top of it, still loose in the blue paint. DiVincentis looking for it. No one could see it, and the officials finally blow the play dead. There's 11 seconds remaining on this power play for the Colts. Their 5th of the game, 5:13 to play in the third, and somehow it's still just 2-2.
Well, if this is what this whole series is going to be like, we're in for a heck of a series as Cardwell, the Battalion, get another gift as Cardwell, wide open opportunity, and he fans on the shot. That would have been a really good scoring opportunity for the Barrie Colts, but again, Battalion unable to clear about 2 or 3 times in that shift, and finally they get a whistle as DiVincentis able to find the loose puck in a pile of bodies. At the end of the day, though, the Battalion 11 seconds away from a huge kill, but now with 5:13 to go, we're basically at a point where the next goal is most likely going to win, as it's either going to be in regulation or overtime at this point.
And there is some overtime history between these two teams in the postseason, which we talked about on the Frontline podcast, which you can download right now.
And again, it's also normal periods, right? Continuous OT, 5-on-5 for 20 minutes until someone scores.
Penalty is over. Akey bringing the puck back into the North Bay zone, takes a shot, deflected off a stick, goes wide, picked up on the far side, center, the shot coming in, and DiVincentis makes a save. 4:40 to play as Akey bats it back in along the end boards, behind the net. Bowden is there. Or check that, Bowden was there, knocked away from his stick, and now North Bay come back the other way with McDonald taking the shot. And that one is stopped. It goes into the far side corner. McDonald plays it to the line. Bristowski with a shot coming in. That one's deflected high. It goes to the near side corner. Zito's there. Plays it back up high to Nelson. Nelson takes a shot that's blocked. Nelson gets it back. Gets around a player. Goes to McDonald. And he cannot bury it on the one-timer. And that puck went off the glass, rode all the way along the boards, and ended up in the Barrie bench.
Well, McDonald wanted to have that one back. Kind of a weird angle, but he had a wide open top shelf, and unfortunately misses it, as he said, goes off, takes a weird bounce around the glass, finds it out.
And I think Thornton went down a little early there,
Yeah.
I think McDonald, if he had just waited, he would have had Thornton out of position.
Yeah, and again, he's due for one in this game, it seems like. He's been all over the puck.
I agree.
I still predict he's going to be the next goal. We'll see.
4:07 to play as Petrov off the draw, fires it in, but it goes wide of the net. North Bay keep the puck from clearing. It's back in the far side corner. Ertel's there, takes a shot off the shoulder of Thornton, and then batted towards the net by Hislop, but they're going to call high stick on that play. So even if that went in the net, that would not have counted.
It was almost good it didn't, because you know these fans would not be happy.
That one would have been pretty obvious, though, I think. 3:55 remaining in the third period. 2-2 the score here in Game 1.
Talking about Frank Clark being a catalyst for the Barrie Colts, and it's very fitting that he's the one who ties this game up relatively early in the period at the 2:55 mark. And it's been kind of all Barrie, all period. Battalion taking some unfortunate penalties that, again, it's been Barrie taking those penalties for the most part of this game, but the Battalion just have not played the same third period that they played, but they still played decently well.
Yeah, they've had to spend most of it in their own zone, taking a couple of penalties. 11 power plays been awarded in this game between the two teams. Barrie over 6 on their opportunities. Now North Bay dumping the puck in. Petrov behind the net, looking for control. He brings it back down the left side, sends it up high to Christopoulos, takes a shot, and just goes wide on the stick side. Comes up to the near side boards. Petrov can't hold it there. He'll control it in the neutral zone, drops it back to Christopoulos. He plays it forward to Jackson. Jackson gets knocked off the puck, and it's McDonald going the other way for the Colts. He takes a shot at DiVincentis, who bobbles it, and then McDonald with a secondary chance who gets denied by DiVincentis, and the net gets knocked loose and blows that play down. Wow, DiVincentis looked, that was one of the few times this year where he just looks unsure after making a save.
Yeah, and again, it's game one, but there's still a lot on the line here as a big game for both of these teams. If you're Barrie, it's a big game on the road. If you're the Battalion, It's a big game to get to. You're trying to get 2 here at home and go to Barrie up 2-0, and this game makes the Sunday game so pivotal. If the Battalion lose this, now you basically need to win Sunday to split the and keep the home ice advantage.
Off the draw, the puck is sent down the ice. A couple players racing towards it. Romani's there, gets the puck, sends it in front of the net, gets the puck back to himself, and he puts it on net, but Thornton, sprawling, makes the save.
Thornton getting kind of lucky. Romani can't put this puck up in the air as he was down and out, and Romani unfortunately can't get the puck up as he was, the entire top half of the net was open, and best chance the Battalion have had in this in this period at least. And we're 2 minutes and 43 seconds away from some extra free hockey. And again,
what do you make of the fact that Thornton came out to play with 2 defenders also coming in there?
Yeah, he almost messed it up. He threw it right into the body of a Battalion, and again, luck was almost on the Battalion side again.
Christopoulos sends it in off the M boards, redirected towards Thornton, and he'll hold on to it.
But you got to give a lot. It's an interesting kind of game of parallels right now. Both Divinchendis and Thornton giving up 2 goals apiece. You look at the goal scorers, Van Stietsel and Wiggle, both kind of depth goals. Then you see, again, Clark and Nelson, the 2 big goal-scoring defensemen, also scoring goals in this hockey game. And even the way they play defense, they almost seem like they're very evenly matched to the style of game that they're playing tonight.
Off the draw, Arnsby takes a shot, save made by Thornton. It comes up to the line, and it is carried down the ice by Punnett. Going into the corner, Winslow kicks it over to Arnsby. Trying to clear, turns it over, but then Van Stietsel gets it right back. He sends it up ahead to Arnsby. Tries to play it to Tarasevic, is knocked away from him and cleared out of the Barrie zone. It's Clark who finds it. Clark down the middle of the ice. Clark with the booze raining down on him, drives to the middle of the zone and tried to get a shot on net, but he gets knocked out of the play, and Barrie inadvertently cleared the puck out of the zone, and now they turn it over. 2-on-2 in the attacking end for North Bay. Arnsby drops back, shot, save made. It's right on the slot area, but then cleared away, and the puck will roll out of the zone, and the Battalion on a bad change allow Cardwell to go into the zone, but he puts on the brakes. Now he finds Jelsma, who sends it just wide. Hache now on the right side, plays it to Chola, shot coming in, stop, and the puck comes to the slot, and it's picked up by Zito. 3-on-2 the other way. The Colts have 6 guys on the ice here, but they never touch the puck as the Battalion get it towards the net, then it goes off the glass and into the Barrie bench.
Well, both teams having some very sketchy line changes and sketchy play.
What?
The Colts put the puck out of their own zone, then back the other way. It's Van Stietsel going on kind of a bad change. They also allow the puck. There were 2 Battalion players right there. Both the Battalion players leave as the puck leaves the zone, and that gives a great chance for Cardwell, who had to wait for the rest of his teammates to show up. And then on the other side, as you said, a bad change almost leads to a delay of game, and you can tell both teams that are giving it their all. I feel like both of them are probably pretty tired at this point.
And you could tell Coach Olahan wanted there to be some quick shifts there. That's why you wanted Van Stietsel off the ice and telling him, don't play the puck, just get off the ice. But it was right at his skates there.
Yeah, and then the players coming in decided to go off. And
here comes Zito towards the net. Tries to play it on the short side. That didn't work. And then the pass to the slot is sent down the ice. 55 seconds to go in regulation of Game 1 between the Battalion and the Colts. The 4th time these 2 teams have met in the playoffs in the last 10 years. Here come the Colts into the zone. Savard knocked off the puck. And now it's Nelson going the other way. Nelson makes a move, gets into the zone, drives to the right side. The shot coming in, and the save is made by the goaltender Thornton. 29 seconds to go in regulation, 2 to the score.
And this is a game I don't know who's going to win this game at this point. It feels like it could, like at any moment somebody could put the puck in the net. We've seen the Battalion have some great chances. They've got 40 shots on Thornton. We saw the Barrie Colts put up 14 shots in this period. It just kind of feels like at this point either team could easily win. And it's been probably the best hockey game I think we've seen in this building in a very long time.
Face off to the stick side of Thornton. Jackson in the middle. Jackson wins it to Petrov. Petrov gets tied up though, but he finds Jackson, who takes the shot. Save made, And then the puck just bounced in the slot. Nelson could not get control of it. Now it's sent the other way. Frasca gets around the defense, but he gets tied up by Petrov before being able to get a shot off. 10 seconds to go in this game. And with Clark controlling it in his own zone, game one is going to overtime. 2-2 at the end of 60 minutes, and we'll have some free hockey for you right here on the Frontline broadcast.
Well, who else but Brant Clark ties things up, and all of a sudden its next goal wins. And at this point, who knows what's going to happen, and it's going to be an exciting finish, that's for sure.
And we'll have it for you right here. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Derek and Ben will break down period number 3, and then we'll get set up for some overtime hockey. You're watching all the action right here on the Frontline broadcast on YouTube, presented by Average Joe's. Stay tuned.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Average Joe's Eatery. Average Joe's, where we want your experience here to be a happy one. 3501 Trout Lake Road.
And welcome back inside Memorial Gardens, where 60 minutes wasn't enough to decide this first game of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion as they wait for overtime, tied at 2 apiece. 1 goal in that third period. Brant Clark getting his 6th of the playoffs, tying things up at 2:55 from Evan Verling, that coming on a 4-on-4 situation. 5 penalties in that third period, 4 of them belonging to the North Bay Battalion. Cole Baudouin and Ethan Procession went off together at 2:45 for roughing. Justin Ertl picked up a hooking call at 5:20. Paul Christopoulos for a delay of game at 5:59, and then Justin Ertl concluded those penalties at 12:58 for hooking. Power plays to speak of, it was the Battalion 1 for 5 through 60 minutes, and the Barrie Colts 0 for 6 on their power play opportunities. Shots on goal through 60 minutes, it's the Colts with 14, doubling their shots alone in that third period for a game total of 28. Meanwhile, the Battalion putting 11 on goal for a game total of 41 in the 3 periods of play. Looking around the OHL tonight, as it's a busy night, all 4 games on tap as the semifinals get underway in both conferences. London Knights have a 7-2 lead now late in the third period. If that holds true, they will have a 2-0 lead as that series will head back to Kitchener for games 3 and 4. games won in the other two series. Is first off, Jack Beck with a pair of goals, leading the Ottawa 67s to a 4-2 win over the Peterborough Petes. And meanwhile, in Sarnia, the Sting shut out the Saginaw Spirit by a score of 3-0. Ben Goudreau making 26 saves in the net for Sarnia, picking up that shutout. Looking around some of the professional sports tonight, first off, in Toronto, the Blue Jays looking to knock off the Tampa Bay Rays, who opened up the season with 13 straight wins. That currently is 6-3 in the top of the 8th inning. Couple of games closing out the NHL regular season as first off, the Buffalo Sabres now with a 4-2 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Predators with a couple goals have evened things up with the Colorado Avalanche, tied at 3 apiece. So we are just 12 minutes away from overtime here at Memorial Gardens, as these two teams have been pretty evenly matched up through the first 60 minutes. Brant Clark staying hot as he gets his 6th of the season, tying things up. But just minutes later than that, it looked like the Barrie Colts might have taken a 3-2 lead on a 2-man advantage. But after a quick review, the goal was overturned due to an offside call missed 20 seconds previously. So that taking that goal off, and the Battalion were able to kill off that penalty, but were not able to score, and things ended up tied at 2 apiece. So it's going to come down to an interesting overtime period. The crowd seems to be getting back into it, not liking the way the referees have called it, but it's going to be different. We know that things open up a little bit in overtime, and really either team is just one shot away from getting that game 1 victory. Let's bring in producer Ben Long. Interesting 60 minutes. Nothing of the unexpected here with the teams tied at 2, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is what we all expected, right? It was going to be a close series. It was going to be a tough-fought series. And that's what we've seen. We've seen lots of physicality coming from both sides, lots of hitting. We've seen a few things that could have been calls that maybe weren't calls. We saw a few calls that maybe weren't necessary calls to be made that ended up being calls. But all in all, the refereeing hasn't been terrible. It's been pretty even that way, and the players have just been fighting for it.
Yeah, 11 power plays, almost split down the middle, 6 for the Barrie Colts, 5 for the North Bay Battalion. Almost thinking that the next call was going to go for the Barrie Colts, but really nothing gets called much in overtime unless it's a really blatant call leading to or neglecting a goal.
Yeah, or if it's vicious, right? And I mean, we've seen a few plays where it might start getting to that level anyway. I'm sure the coaches are both in there saying, keep it calm, let's play the game of hockey, and let's get this game over with. But when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, keeping that temper in check isn't always the easiest thing.
No. Going into that third period, it looked like North Bay had things pretty handedly for the first 40 minutes, dominating a lot of the play. Reversal in that third period as the Barrie Colts really pushed, got that equalizer very early on, did get a goal-ahead goal, but it gets overturned. How important was that? And really, the Battalion not able to capitalize on some momentum off of that 2-man kill.
Well, I mean, that whole sequence was crucial to this game still existing, right? Had that goal not been called back from offside, I don't think we'd be here. I don't think the Battalion would have found the fight back. I think that might have been the end of it. And with the goaltending we have at both ends, 41 shots, only 2 goals against. That's goaltending that North Bay hasn't seen a lot lately, especially in the Mississauga series where they were getting outshot handily every game and were just able to score almost at will, it seemed.
So with the way this is going and the importance that both teams know how important it is to get this first game, for Barrie to get home ice advantage and for the Battalion to keep that leg up, I think this could be a game that could either get decided really quickly in the first 2 minutes, or we can be set for a long night here.
We could have a few more of these intermissions. The people notice that Ben Sargent isn't here on the intermission show because he needed to step out from the booth for a moment, and he may have a few more intermissions that he has to do tonight, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, like you said, Derek, it could be a quick one where, like our players to watch, Brant Clark and Ty Nelson both have the ability to grab the puck, skate up the ice, and put it in. It could be over quickly, but both goalies have the ability to shut the door as well, and it could be in for a long night here.
Could be in for a long night, and you talked about Brant Clark and Ty Nelson both scoring, so remain pretty consistent with our players to watch. We've done an excellent job all season with when we call out those names that they find themselves on the scoreboard. We like it, especially when it's the home team, not so much the away team. Brent Clark getting that equalizer.
Yeah, but I mean, the way it is we try to be pretty neutral up here, so if someone on the other side is worth mentioning, we'll mention them. But, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point because, if you look at anyone on Barrie's roster, say, who's going to score a goal tonight? Money's on Brant Clark, and he came through tonight. Even in the first half of the game, he didn't have a lot of shots, but when he had the puck, he was controlling it. Now, in the first two periods, every time he touched the puck, North Bay was on him. He got a bunch of hits laid on him. In the third period, they were giving him a lot more space out there. And it'll be interesting to see if they start to go back to if he touches the puck, I want you on him more than the fans are on him.
Oh, yeah, talk about those fans on him. Every time he's touching the puck, you can hear that loud boo. And talking to backup goaltender West in behind down at the ice level, Ben West, he's saying that this is a very hostile environment here, and he feels that that's the safest spot for him is on that bench right beside us because he's not getting heckled like his teammate Anson Thornton is down at the other end.
Oh, for sure. But, I mean, if you ask any goalie, whether he's the safest spot for him or not, that's not where he wants to be. Safety is not the requirement for the job.
No, it's not. And I want to get back to Brant Clark, Ty Nelson. This defensive role is kind of taking a turn a little bit where they're becoming more of that fourth forward, playing more of a rover position, not necessarily a defenseman or a forward, more of a hybrid position. They're revolutionizing this position, and I think this is the way a lot of the game is turning, and I think we're going to see more of this offensive defenseman out in the OHL.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've already started to see it graduate to the NHL level with guys like Cale Makar. We saw it 15, 20 years ago with guys like Chris Letang coming into the league, being a bit more offensive. Cale Makar's a step ahead. I think with Brant Clark, Ty Nelson, guys like that, we're seeing sort of the next step of that evolutionary chain. And I think it's just going to continue to happen. I think part of what we see with the Ty Nelson, that it gets talked about where he's going to be next year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar situation to Brant Clark where he does end up in Seattle for the start of the season, at least for a little bit. I don't think he'll stay there, just because as a smaller forward that's puck moving like that, for your maturity level, for you to get to that NHL level, usually takes a bit longer time. So even if we see him right back out of camp here, that wouldn't entirely surprise me either. Although he has the skill that he could play there, having the size and maybe wanting to protect him a little bit might send him back here, let him develop a little more confidence.
And the Seattle Kraken have been known to do that, take their time in developing their prospects, and they've done that, and Ty Nelson is going to be a good example. I know we've talked to Ty Nelson and asked him what they think of his game, and Ty Nelson right straight out said they like the way I play. They want me to keep playing this style of hockey. If he is able to and does return, I think the ceiling's high for him next year to eclipse those numbers he put up this year.
I think if he goes to the NHL and comes back, it's going to be a Brant Clark situation where he's coming back at over 2 points a game. If he comes back right away out of camp, I think he's still in for incredible numbers over the whole year, maybe not the same rate, but I think he'll have, he's going to beat this year's numbers next year. I'm almost certain of it.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Let's get back to overtime here. Two teams, the Barrie Colts and the North Bay Battalion. A lot of offensive power on both teams. I think Battalion maybe a little bit more. Let's hear some predictions. Who do you have for both teams going into overtime to score this game winner?
I think Petrov's due. He's been really buzzing around the end. He's been looking. He's taken more shots than I saw him take in the last series. He was doing a lot of passing last series. He's taken a few shots this time. I think he's about due a goal. I mean, first OHL game scored 3. So I think he's, to get through a whole series without one, with still putting up 10 assists, so he's not been unproductive, but he hasn't put any pucks in the net himself. And I think that might be something we see, I think, out of Barrie. I mean, it's hard not to say Brant Clark, right? Like, that's, again, the easy money is Brant Clark. But I think we might see... Veerling's played really well this game, but Cardwell, I think, is the guy that I would say. If Barrie scored, it might be Cardwell that puts it in.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Petrov looking really strong out there, and I think skating one of his best. Let's hear from Ben Sargent. Overtime prediction.
Well, I muted apparently. It's going to be interesting if there's going to be somebody who does it for the Battalion, I think it's Kyle McDonald. But I think if somebody does it for Barrie, it's got to be Brant Clark. But I do think that McDonald's going to find the back of the net. But either way, I think this is going to be a relatively quick. I think this is going to be a quick overtime, as both these. It seems like they've been able to find the back of the net in the first 10 minutes of the period so far.
Okay, quickly, I've got Justin Ertel, and I'm going to go with Frasca for the Barrie Colts. Moments away from overtime here. We're deadlocked at 2 at Memorial Gardens. When we return, Matt Sucrum will rejoin Ben Sargent for some free hockey as you are watching Colts Battalion on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just do a search for Mike the Financial Advisor. You should find me.
Welcome back. Matthew Sucrum with you here alongside Ben Sargent, Ben Long producing, Derek Lindemann downstairs. And we are set for as long as this one might take.
Well, don't say it like that.
It's overtime between the Battalion and the Colts.
And it's continuous till someone scores.
Game 1 coming down to next goal wins. Off the draw, Nelson sends it forward. Very quickly played out by Clark. Down the right wing side, it is McDonald. He plays it on net. That's knocked wide. Back into the corner and flipped along the far side boards. Hislop is there for North Bay. And he sends it down the ice. Bloom missed it. And that allows Barrie to come back in the zone. They put it on net. And it's deflected just wide. Looked like Jelsma sneaking in, trying to get a deflection on that pass. And now it's Jelsma back in front of the net, but he fans on it completely. And now Zito over the line. Goes to the near side boards. Zito to left side. McDonald shot just goes wide. What a rip from Big Mac himself. And now it's McDonald the other way for the Colts, who gets pushed off the puck behind the blue line. North Bay send it up ahead to Tarasevich down the right wing. Chips it in. Played behind the net by the Colts. Sent to the far side. That's Cardwell. Dishes it out to Vierling. Over the blue line and dumps it down. Picked up by Frasca behind the net. Leaves it there for Vierling now. He'll go down the far side boards. Coming up to the blue line. Still controlling the puck. Chips it along the boards. Sends it around to the near side. Couple of players converge on the near side boards, but they overskate the puck, and it goes back in towards the end boards for Vierling. He holds it there, sends it back to the left side corner for Cardwell. Cardwell pushed into the boards, but North Bay can't find the puck. Veerling sends it to the right side, the shot, scores! This game is over. The Barrie Colts win Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals by a 3-2 victory in overtime. And a huge come-from-behind win as they erase a 2-goal deficit and score the last 3 goals to take Game 1.
We talk about how Brant Clark is the catalyst, and he's the one who ties this game up in the third period. And again, that's just Battalion leave a man wide open on the far side. And we talk about how pivotal this game is. Now the Battalion on Sunday basically need to win to maintain that home ice advantage. And what a huge win on the road for Barrie. This, I'm telling you, Matt, no matter what happens, this is going to be an exciting playoff series. And, you know, I said it was going to be maybe a 5-6 game series. We might be in for a long one. This might be a 7-game series. If these teams play the way they did, we are in for a treat.
Absolutely. So Brant Clark tied the game at 2:55 of the third period, and we had nothing until that goal right there, which is what, 1:49. 1:49. Thank you, everybody.
You used to be good at the math.
Well, I'm tired. So the North Bay Battalion dropped Game 1, 3-2 in overtime to the Barrie Colts. That's the second time in North Bay history that North Bay and Barrie have gone to a game in overtime in the playoffs. The first one ended in double overtime. That was a 4-3 win in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference semifinals on April 16, 2015. And unfortunately, the North Bay Battalion cannot get the same result here. So I will say goodnight. Stay tuned to our social medias. We will have post-game reaction with North Bay Battalion head coach Ryan Olahan. And breaking down the rest of this game will be Ben and Derek in our Laherda Imports post-game show. We'll see you next time. I'm Matthew Sucrum saying thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be back with more right here on the Frontline broadcast presented by Average Joe's.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
As a Canadore College alumni, you have access to perks. Canadore Alumni Perks. This is a lifetime membership that includes special access to great offers, opportunities to get involved, and so much more. Graduates can access discounts and special offers from businesses and hotels locally, across Canada, and internationally. Get information on special events and news, or access the alumni job portal. Keep in touch with Canadore's alumni office. Visit canadorecollege.ca/perks. Great things happen here.
You rely on your vehicle to take you to the places that matter most to you. So bring your vehicle to the team you can rely on to keep it running at its best. Dave's Automotive Services. Whether you're getting your car or truck ready for the season with a tire change, making sure you're safe on the road with an inspection and certification, or doing your due diligence to keep your vehicle in tip-top shape with regular maintenance, Dave's Automotive Services has you covered. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect when you bring your car or truck to Dave's Automotive Services at 411 Airport Road. Call 705-478-5544 and book your appointment today.
The Frontline Podcast, Season 3. Courtney Kenny, Matthew Sucrum, Derek Lindemann, Bob Coles, and Ben Long bring you closer to your favorite teams like never before. Covering everything to do with hockey in the North Bay area, exclusive interviews with the North Bay Battalion staff and players, expert analysis on the OHL, NOJHL, and more, keeping you up to date on all things Voodoos, Trappers, Lakers, and more. It's a new season, it's a new adventure. The Frontline Podcast Season 3. Available wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
Well, as we welcome you back into Memorial Gardens, it is the Barrie Colts grabbing the overtime winner, as it's Josh Kavanaugh who scores in overtime at the 1:49 mark as the Barrie Colts take Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, a score of 3-2. Now let's take a quick look at our 3 stars of the game.
Tonight's 3 stars is brought to you by Dave's Automotive Services, 411 Airport Road in North Bay. Expert troubleshooting, quality repairs, and time-efficient labor are the 3 stars of service you can expect from Dave's.
And our Dave's Automotive 3 stars are the third star, Brant Clark, who picked up a goal, the game-tying goal, as that happened in the 2:55 mark of the third period. Ty Nelson with a goal in this hockey game also picks up the second star, and the first star is the overtime hero, Josh Kavanagh, who had the overtime winner. So our next broadcast will come Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals here from the Gardens, as it'll be Sunday, April the 16th at 2 p.m. Of course, the Battalion are going to be looking to even the series before going on the road to Barrie. So as we take a look at the final shots, by the way, 41-30 in favor of the North Bay Battalion. So for everybody here, for Matthew Sukram, for Derek Lindemann, for our producer Ben Long, I'm Ben Sargent saying have a great night. Thanks for spending your Friday evening with us. Again, it's the Barrie Colts taking this one in overtime 3-2 and take a 1-0 series lead. And as always, keep your eye on the front line.
Meals are a special time for families to gather, share their day, and spend quality time together. Those dinners are made extra special when you add tropical produce found in the markets and grocery stores that carry La Huerta imports. La Huerta knows the importance of family, so they know which quality products make the best quality meals for your customers, whether it be Mexican Hass avocados, Brazilian figs, Ecuadorian red dragon fruit, or something just as exotic and special. To get your supply of the best tropical produce at competitive prices with brands buyers trust, contact La Huerta Imports at 705-752-1478.
Community engagement is one of our core focuses at McDonald's. The key is finding the right people who are passionate about the same things we are, helping kids be kids. McDonald's proudly supports local organizations such as the North Bay Regional Health Center Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, One Kids Place, the Children's Aid Society, and Ronald McDonald House Charities. Stop by McDonald's on 1500 Fisher Street, North Bay, to see how we can serve you and the community every day.
Hey there, I'm Mike the Financial Advisor. When you strip it down to its core and you take away all the industry jargon, I help people solve financial concerns. So if you're concerned that you'll never save enough to retire comfortably, or that your kid is going to graduate post-secondary $40,000 in debt, or maybe even that life is going to take a really unfortunate sideways turn and somebody is going to have to open a GoFundMe page for you and your family, I can help you prevent all of those things from happening. If you want to see how, you can